multiple worlds collecting cards from Naruto. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76, The First Ninja Tournament. After recovering, Chen Tian was immediately furious. This system was naked revenge. Why was the fusion so comfortable before, but it was so painful this time? And people who were one stage weaker than him would not produce cards in the future? You dare to retaliate against me? Wait until you level up, and we can talk. After scolding for a long time, knowing that the system couldn't hear him, Chen Tian could only throw down this sentence angrily. Water escape water mirror technique. Summoning a water mirror, Chen Tian opened the blood eye and leaned over to observe it carefully. But as he looked at it, he felt bored because this was a one Magatama blood eye. What's the use of this thing? Under the eternal main Gekio, it seemed to have no effect on him. Take your time. Muttering, Chen Tian put away the flying thunder god Kune on the ground and went to Konoha. This time, the bandit suppression has cleared the fire country, and by the way, killed Denzo, who had been calculating against him and knew the conspiracy of the Six Paths Sage, which was simply a profit. After returning, he planned to do something big to show these people that anyone who dared to come to the land of fire to cause trouble would die. In this way, in less than a day, Chen Tian had returned to Konoha. The first thing he did when he returned was to go to the Hokage's office. Shimura Danzo's death was such a big thing. How could he tell Minato? Crack. I'm back, and I did a good job this time. The land of fire is now peaceful, and my mission is much easier. As soon as he opened the door, Minato spit out a bunch of grapes, and his face was slowly full of smiles. Now he finally doesn't have to worry about these things anymore. It's so cool. But before he got excited, Chen Tian interrupted him. Danzo wanted to surround and kill me, but I killed him. Ha. Minato stared at Chen Tian in disbelief. Then he became serious and asked, what happened? After Chen Tian explained the whole story, Minato fell into deep thought and didn't speak for a long time. Because Chen Tian did not hide the matter of the Six Paths Sage, he was greatly shocked. Don't tell anyone else about this. If the Six Paths Sage really shows up, there must be some conspiracy. Although he didn't know about Kaguya's existence, Minato still thought of the right direction at the first time, which made Chen Tian secretly shocked. If he put himself in his shoes, he would definitely not think of these things, because he only knew a little information about Minato. Before he could speak, Minato said again, from the beginning, you can't leave Konoha to prevent the Six Paths Sage from attacking you again. He wanted to fight for it, but seeing Minato's concerned, worried, and determined eyes, the words turned into don't worry, I won't leave Konoha in the next few years. Minato was satisfied, and the two began to discuss this issue in various ways. After 2 hours, he stopped with a sense of unfulfilled desire. Then I'll leave first. Waving his hand, Chen Tian was ready to leave, but he suddenly stopped at the door. I forgot all about it. Turning around, Chen Tian said, let's hold a ninja tournament in Konoha. It can not only show our strength, but also warn those petty thieves. He had this idea a long time ago, but at that time it was for picking up cards. After the novice protection period, he could no longer use such means, so he put it aside. Now holding it can not only show off its muscles to other ninja villages, but also deter bandits from other countries, so that they dare not come to Konoha. It is simply killing two birds with one stone. However, these are just excuses given by Chen Tian to Minato. The real purpose is that there are still 15 or 16 years before the Fourth War. The ninja tournament held every 3 years. As long as Konoha can win the first place, or even take the top place, Konoha will be the boss in the Fourth War. The Fourth War broke out under the leadership of Konoha, so Chen Tian's advantages can be better exerted. These naturally cannot be told to Minato, but even so, after a moment of hesitation, Minato still agreed and arranged the arrangements himself. Chen Tian returned to Konoha safely, but the Six Paths Sage on the edge of the Pure Land had a gloomy face. He could afford to lose a mere seeking the way jade, but he felt bad that he didn't kill Chen Tian. And this person actually knew him. Who knows if he would hinder his plan. but he couldn't attack directly without his body, and he also sensed Chen Tian's strength, and ordinary bodies couldn't deal with him. And those cage level strongmen were not something he could occupy, just because he wanted to, so he was a little hesitant for a while. In addition, he didn't dare to move around in the ninja world casually. If he was noticed by the god of death, his soul would not survive. This time he took a huge risk, but it didn't work. Just when the Six Paths Sage was angry, Minato had already spread the news of the first Ninja Way conference to all the major ninja villages. In the organizer's box, he filled in the name of Konoha's demon, Chen Tian. For so long, all the things about Chen Tian's past have been spread out, and the gossipers gave Chen Tian the title of Konoha's demon. Because he is too young and his strength is so powerful, he can be said to be the strongest demon in history. When he first heard of this title, Chen Tian almost caught the person who came up with it and beat him up. What is this? It's so ugly. But as more and more people knew about it, he could only accept this title helplessly. The main reason was that this title was actually spread by Kushina. Don't mess with it. Once this news was released, it immediately ignited the entire ninja world. This is the first time, since the beginning of the world, there are people in the ninja world who are looking forward to it, and there are also people who are disdainful, but they all come to Konoha. In the tavern of Kusakage village. Have you heard that Konoha is going to hold the first ninja tournament? It would be great if I could get first place. I'll get a full 1 billion ryo as a reward. Heh, you're just a chunin, and you still want to get first place. Any ninja in Konoha can beat you. That's true. I just don't know if people like the Cloud Shadow Village will participate. If they do, it will be a good show. They should participate. After what happened in the Cloud Shadow Village, who dares not to give face to Konoha now? And that 1 billion ryo, even the 5 major countries will be jealous. Almost every place in the entire ninja world is discussing this matter. Ambitious people are all rushing to Konoha to make a name for themselves. There are also some smart civilians rushing to Konoha. With so many people going there, they can make a fortune just by selling anything. Chapter 77, Ninja World Trends. In Uzumaki village, after receiving the news from Minato, the fourth Raikage flew into a rage and smashed the table in front of him with one palm. Lord Raikage, should we send someone to attend the ninja tournament? Samu asked helplessly when the Raikage calmed down. Originally, Uzumaki village did not have much funds after compensating Konoha, and now they have to change a desk. Go, all of us go. After a pause, he continued, B and I will also go. We must get the 1 billion back. No. Samu interrupted the Raikage's words at the first time and said, if Konoha wants to wipe us out, you and Lord B will go. Although she didn't finish her words, how could the fourth Raikage not understand what she meant? She waved her hand indifferently and explained, if Konoha wanted to destroy us, they could have done it last time. And this time, they won't do this with such a big fuss. Although he is stubborn and reckless, his brain is not bad at all. Otherwise why would he be the fourth Raikage? In the future 4 wars in the original work, why would he be the leader of the Ninja Village Alliance? After hearing the explanation of the Raikage, Samu suddenly understood, responded and went down to prepare. There are many people being brought to Konoha this time. If they are not arranged well, something big will happen in the village. In fact, there is another reason that the two of them did not say tacitly, that is, with Konoha's current strength, they have no capital to refuse. The discussion of the Cloud Shadow Village also took place in other villages. In the Sand Shadow Village, Luosha has now gained a firm foothold and completely controlled the entire village. After receiving this news, no one in the whole village objected, but they were all looking forward to it. That's 1 billion. For other villages, it's just 1 year's funding. But for them, this 1 billion can be spent for 3 to 5 years. Who made the Sand Country encounter such a daimyo who cuts their funding every year? Anoki of the Land of Earth was not so decisive. He despised Konoha for a long time during the meeting, but in the end he still agreed. The biggest change is the Mist Shadow Village. Terumi Mei originally planned to find a good opportunity to take down the 4th generation Mizukage Yagura after a while. But after getting this news, he couldn't sit still. The Kirigak village had fallen in the hands of Yagura over the years. 1 billion can greatly help them recover. Even if they are not the first, the second one has 500 million. The Kirigaki village needs this money very much. But Yagura will definitely not participate, and even ordered others not to participate. There is no other way. We must deal with Yagura in these few days. After stabilizing the village, we will go to Konoha. The matter of luring Yagura out depends on you, King. In a remote corner of the Kirigaki village, Meditarumi and his capable subordinates were discussing, including King. King was originally Yagura's confidant, but with the emergence of the Blood Mist village, he gradually moved closer to Meditarumi. Now he has become Meditarumi's confidant, and is an undercover under Yagura. It was also him who spliced a white eye, and saw that Yagura was controlled by someone, which led to this action. No problem, I will lead him out of the village tomorrow, and into our encirclement. After a pause, King asked cautiously, are we going to Konoha this time, to take back the three tails? That's right, Chen Tian saved you and Yelin a long time ago, and took the three tails of the Mist Shadow village away with him. The current 4th Mizukage Yagura is not the Jinchuriki in the original work, otherwise Terumi Mei would not have confronted Yagura so quickly. No, Konoha is too powerful now, we are not opponents. But I will test the 4th Hokage's tone at that time. Terumi didn't even think about it, and gave a negative answer. They didn't want to follow the footsteps of the Cloud Shadow village. If the Mist Shadow village is not peaceful, the Rain Country will explode even more. After hearing the news, Kakuzu and other members of the Akatsuki organization wanted to participate. Kakuzu had his eyes on the large sum of money, and others had this idea for fame or profit. If Konoha was not too powerful, they would have gone there by themselves. For this reason, these people kept encouraging Nagato to participate, and Konoha would be destroyed if he dared to be naughty. Nagato has the Samsara Eye, which is known as the Eye of God. With Nagato here, they are not afraid of Konoha. For this matter, Nagato spent a lot of effort to suppress these people. Chen Tian naturally didn't know these things, and even if he knew, he wouldn't care. He was observing the system at this time. Since the system was upgraded, the system panel could not be seen. After opening it, it became like this. Host, Chen Tian, the system is being upgraded. Please check again in 3 years. To be honest, he felt weird that the system disappeared suddenly. He went to Ichiraku Ramen out of boredom to reward his stomach. Walking on the street, he heard the conversation of the villagers of Konoha. You know about the ninja tournament, right? I heard that all the cages are going to attend. I wonder who from Konoha will attend? Well, it must be the 3 ninjas of Konoha, Hokage-sama, Kushina-sama and Chen Tian-sama. Others are easy to say, but Chen Tian-sama is still too young, and is definitely not a match for the others. I think so too. The cages of other villages are not something that Chen Tian-sama can deal with. It will be okay in a few years. 99% of people think that Chen Tian is definitely not a match for these veteran strongmen. Hearing these people's conversation, Chen Tian just smiled and said nothing. Hand-beating uncle, a bowl of ramen. Hearing Chen Tian's voice, the people in the ramen restaurant looked at him one after another, and everyone greeted him respectfully. Some people came to sit next to Chen Tian with their ramen bowls. They should not be too familiar with Chen Tian, and everyone respects him from the bottom of their hearts. So they tried their best to persuade Chen Tian. Lord Chen Tian, you are too young now. Let's not participate in this ninja tournament. You will definitely be the first in the next one. Yes, Lord Chen Tian, the others are in their 40s, and you are less than 10 years old now. It's really a disadvantage. These people don't see any chance of Chen Tian winning. Every cage is synonymous with a strong man. In addition, Chen Tian is too young. If he participates in the competition, they are also out of good intentions. They are afraid that Chen Tian will be hit and unable to recover, so they come to persuade him. Seeing that the people around him have this idea, Chen Tian is more or less depressed. Is he so weak? He vaguely fooled the topic and finally breathed a sigh of relief. These people are really too difficult to deal with. But I have made up my mind that I must participate in this conference and let you look down on me. Chapter 78 Gathering in Konoha. Time flies, and a month has passed in the blink of an eye. There are still 5 days left before the first ninja tournament, and a war suddenly broke out in the Mist Shadow village. Aoki led Yagura out of the Mist Shadow village, and Terumi Mei led a dozen senior ninjas to ambush and killed Yagura on the spot. When Terumi Mei announced the news and began to reorganize the village, she found that Kisame, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, had betrayed the village and left. However, she did not have the time or ability to care about this matter for the time being. After barely stabilizing the situation, she handed all matters over to the elder and led her people to Konoha. When they set off, the Cloud Shadow Village, Sand Shadow Village and Rock Shadow Village also set off at the same time. Cloud Shadow Village troops. Brother, do you think that Konoha monster will participate? Killer Bee asked indignantly. Heh. With a sneer, AI's eyes flashed with disdain. He is indeed a monster, but he is not qualified now. Would it be embarrassing to go up? Is that so? But I really hope he can participate. It would be best if he meets us so that I can teach that bastard a lesson. Killer Bee's strange tone revealed a strong expectation. It would be best if he participates. I will definitely teach him a painful lesson so that he will be decadent and become a useless person from now on. AI was still a little afraid of Chen Tian. Now he is at the level of Cage, and it is unknown what height he can reach in the future. For such a person, it is best to take this opportunity to hit his self-confidence and make him quiet down. It can be regarded as killing this monster in advance and reducing future opponents. Not only in the Cloud Shadow Village, but also in the Rock Shadow Village, Anoki has the same view. The two villages tacitly made the same decision. As long as Chen Tian participates in the competition, his self-confidence must be broken. Chen Tian, who knows nothing about this, is still studying the Rasengan in his hut. This ninjutsu was used by Naruto from the beginning to the end, and its development prospects can be said to be very high. It just so happens that his body is full of natural energy, so he can throw out the wind escape, Rasen Shuriken. How can he not practice it? Moreover, there is Minato teaching him step by step. He has everything, right time, right place, and right people. It is simply and just not to practice. Concentrate the chakra in the palm of your hand. Let these chakras choose. Change the direction of the chakra's rotation. Let the chakra rotate disorderly and accelerate again. Rasengan. He pressed it on the tree next to him, and with a bang, a brand new hole opened in the center of the century-old tree. Success. A smile appeared on his face, and Chen Tian was very excited. He learned Flying Thunder God because of his spatial talent. Excluding that, Rasengan was the first ninjutsu he learned by himself. He forgot how long Naruto took in the original work, but he only took 10 days, which was definitely faster than Naruto. Looking at the newly generated Rasengan in his hand, Chen Tian murmured, "Next is the big ball Rasengan and Rasengan Shuriken." Then he showed a relaxed smile. He had already learned the nature change of chakra, and the subsequent development directions were not difficult for him. It is estimated that when the tournament begins, he will be able to master these two powerful ninjutsu. In a blink of an eye, Chen Tian once again devoted himself to day and night training, and the opening time of the tournament was getting closer and closer. Before he knew it, 3 days had passed, and Konoha's younger brother, the Sand Shadow Village, arrived first. Minato sent Kakashi to greet them, counted the participants, and arranged accommodation for them. With nothing to do, these people from the Sand Shadow Village wandered around Konoha and were surprised to see new things. Seeing this, the villagers of Konoha smiled kindly, with pride in their eyes. All this was brought by Lord Chen Tian. The second person to arrive was Mei Terumi from the Mist Shadow Village, and the person who greeted her was Tsunade Senju. After all, women are easy to communicate with. But Minato and Chen Tian didn't expect that the two women would fight as soon as they met, which made people laugh and cry. However, Tsunade still got some information about the Mist Shadow Village and achieved her goal. The third person to come was the Cloud Shadow Village. In order to prevent these iron-headed kids from making trouble, Jiraiya took the initiative to volunteer and took on the task of the Cloud Shadow Village. The last Rock Shadow Village naturally fell to the ruthless and taciturn Orochimaru. Anoki wants to act like a big shot in front of Orochimaru? Believe it or not, the Kusanagi sword will directly hit your neck. Thinking of this scene, Chen Tian found it very funny. However, the facts did not satisfy Chen Tian's bad taste after all. The person who was responsible for welcoming Konoha greatly shocked these people. After that, there were also many small ninja villages, but they were all received by some senior ninjas, not worth mentioning. One day before the start of the conference, the list of this conference was announced. Konoha, Namikaze Minato, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Senjutsu Tsunade, Uzumaki Kushina, Sarutobi Hiruzen, Uchiha Fugaku, Chen Tian, Hatake Kakashi, Might Guy, Cloud Shadow Village, 4th Raikage, Killer Bee, Samu, Yuzuki Ren, and a dozen senior ninjas that Chen Tian had never heard of. Rock Shadow Village, Anoki, Huangtu, Han, Laozi, and a dozen senior ninjas. Mist Shadow Village, Terumi Mei, King. Sand Shadow Village, Luosha, Chihayo, Ibizo, Maki, and more than 30 cannon fodders. In addition, there are more than a dozen small ninja villages and 7 or 8 lone ninjas participating. When this list came out, other villages were fine, but the Mist Shadow Village was really miserable. After being harmed by Yagura, the Mist Shadow Village was short of talents, and a large number of people had to be left to suppress the village, and only 2 pitiful people came. The Sand Shadow Village was the funniest. Among the dozens of cannon fodders, there was actually a Chunin, which almost made everyone laugh to death. But after seeing the list of Konoha, the villagers of Konoha were only proud, and the faces of other villages were not good. They all knew that Konoha was powerful, but was it too powerful now? Counting carefully, there were as many as 8 cage level strongmen. If Konoha had not restrained itself as the host, they would have doubted whether there would be more than 100 Jonin arranged at any time. Why are geniuses always born in Konoha? Everyone sighed at the same time. But when they saw Chen Tian's name, the malicious look in their eyes could no longer be concealed. Amid the concerns of the Konoha villagers, the Cloud Shadow Village and the Rock Shadow Village simultaneously issued orders against Chen Tian. When encountering Chen Tian, it is not just about defeating him, but also breaking his psychological defenses and making him unable to recover from this. In order to achieve this goal, a meeting was held between the 2 villages, and everyone participated in the discussion. In the end, everyone said something, and I thought that Chen Tian, a young genius, must be very confident, so let's break his confidence completely. After discussing these, everyone was full of confidence and waiting for the meeting to start. Although Chen Tian didn't know these things, he saw the cruelty in these people's eyes and had some guesses in his heart. If you want to deal with me, then you can try. Chapter 79 Knockout Round. The next morning, the large arena built outside Konoha was crowded with people, roughly estimated to be 30,000 to 50,000 people. Among them were not only Konoha villagers, but also people from the Land of Fire who dared to come and watch the excitement, including the daimyo. Seeing that the time was almost up, Minato cleared his throat and went on stage to announce the rules. Today is the day when the first ninja tournament begins. Konoha is honored to invite you to participate as the organizer. I believe everyone knows that the first place in this tournament will be rewarded with 1 billion ryo. The second place will be rewarded with 500 million ryo. The third place will be rewarded with 300 million ryo. Long live Konoha. Long live the Hokage. Did you hear that? There really is a reward of 1 billion ryo. The news is true. Big deal. Really big deal. Only Konoha can easily come up with so much money. Hahaha, this is our Konoha. These people are shocked. As soon as the reward content was announced, it immediately set off the whole audience. Whether participating in the tournament or not, everyone's blood boiled. It was not until everyone calmed down a little that Minato continued to announce the rules. There are a total of 186 participants in this ninja tournament, including 16 cage level strongmen. These people can directly enter the top 32. The others will fight in pairs to compete for the remaining 16 places, and finally fight against the 16 cage level strongmen. The ranking list of this conference is all random, absolutely fair and just, and will be jointly implemented by the cages of the 5 major ninja villages. After a series of rules were explained, everyone could understand them clearly. After Minato came down, the drawing of lots officially began, and the cages of the 5 major ninja villages came on stage at the same time. Everyone stared at the big screen in front of them, praying in their hearts that they would meet weaker opponents, preferably those lone rangers. except for the ninjas who were extremely confident in themselves. A lot of sweat broke out on the foreheads of others, and they didn't even dare to blink their eyes. Even the civilians who came to watch the game were affected by the atmosphere, and they spoke a lot more quietly. Group 1. Hatake Kakashi vs Tenza Tenmu. Group 2. Maki vs Umura Ichiro. Group 3. Might Guy vs Mitsu Kohan. As the names appeared one after another, some were in high spirits, while others were crestfallen. Those whose names were not called were even more nervous, their fists clenched tightly, their palms full of sweat. But in the northeast corner of the viewing platform, an extremely discordant scene occurred. Chen Tian held a big gambling plate and collected money one by one, and he almost couldn't close his mouth. The people sitting here were all nobles and daimyo from various countries, and they were all very rich. Konoha took out so much money as a reward. How could it be enough just to confirm its status and deterrence? At least it had to double the money back, so Chen Tian started gambling. The odds of the cage of the 5 major ninja villages were 1 to 1, the other cage were 1 to 2, and the cage level was 1 to 5. But no one was a fool, and almost everyone bought the cage of the 5 major ninja villages. Among them, the 4th Raikage, the 3rd Tsuchikage and the 4th Hokage were all on par, with similar support rates. Below them were the 4th Senkage Rosa, the Konoha Senin and Killer Bee. None of them had beaten Chen Tian to victory, and they were too lazy to even take a second look. After a round here, he got 3 billion taels, which was enough to hold 2 conferences. Smilingly, he ordered the Konoha Ranbu to go to other places to start the betting, and Chen Tian returned to his seat contentedly. He didn't bother to pay attention to the surprised looks of others, just pretending that he didn't see them. Looking around, Chen Tian secretly calculated how much money he could make this time. First of all, these gambling funds, 3 billion in hand, and 1 billion left. None of these people bet on him to be the first. As long as he won the first place, 4 billion would be all. In addition to these, all the small commodities around the spectator seats were arranged by himself. The consumption of tens of thousands of people, no matter how you think about it, it can't be that low. What's more, there is no poor person who has time and money to watch the game. They are all top wool. With this in and out, even if the reward of 1.8 billion taels is given, he can still get 4 billion taels, which is really wonderful. Just when he was happy, the host announced Kakashi's name and pulled him back. Kakashi and Tenzeduo Tenmu stared at each other, their eyes full of desire to win. After flipping through the list of contestants and seeing the 11 lone ninjas of Tenzeduo Tenmu, Chen Tian already had the answer in his mind. They are just lone ninjas. Even if they are senior ninjas, how many ninjutsu can they learn? They don't have enough inheritance like Konoha, so they can only work hard on their own. Sure enough, at the moment when the referee announced the start, the white fang short knife behind Kakashi suddenly came out of his body, and the lightning attribute chakra instantly wrapped around it. The next moment, after the lightning attribute chakra stimulated the cells, Kakashi appeared in front of Tenzeduo Tenmu, and White Fang was against his neck. As a trickle of bright red blood flowed out, Tenzeduo Tenmu's trembling voice sounded, I give up. In the first game, Hatake Kakashi wins. The referee's loud voice spread all around, and cheers came one after another. This Kakashi is so strong, the opponent didn't even react. Yes, he is worthy of being a genius of Konoha. I heard that he is only 15 or 16 years old. Konoha is really the cradle of geniuses. There is Hatake Kakashi in front and Konoha's demon Chen Tian in the back. Speaking of Chen Tian, he also participated in this competition. I wonder if he can enter the top 10. Impossible. There are a total of 16 cage level strongmen, and he should be the weakest among the cage level, compared to less than 10 years old. I think so too. Maybe he will be defeated by other jonin. That would be funny. The discussion came one after another, almost without stopping. Especially Chen Tian, who was in the limelight, was the main topic of everyone's discussion. Except for the Land of Fire, people from other countries were looking forward to the moment when Chen Tian was defeated, preferably by a jonin. In this way, they can give the Fire Nation a good slap in the face. Let the people of the Fire Nation be proud and look down on people from other countries. Even many ninjas agreed with this idea. They were jealous of Chen Tian's age and strength, and they wished that Chen Tian would die immediately. Sensing the malicious eyes around him, Chen Tian smiled disdainfully in his heart and didn't bother to pay attention to them. After this conference is over, they will know who is the fool. Chapter 80, Kill with one move. After a whole day of brutal and fierce fighting, 16 of these people successfully qualified. At this point, these people can be said to have become famous in the ninja world, and almost everyone knows their names. Those who qualified include Hatake Kakashi, Might Guy, Maki, Samu, Huangtu and others, all of whom are ninjas from the 5 major countries. However, Chen Tian was still not satisfied, because this ranking was not enough for reference. Not to mention the others, the rebel ninjas in the Akatsuki organization alone are much stronger than these people. Not to mention perverts like Nagato and Conan who has 600 million detonating tags. However, this is the first ninja tournament, which is considered to have made a name for itself. Among the more than 100 participants, there are people from the 5 major ninja villages, which is not bad. After 3 years of fermentation, if it continues to be held in the future, there will definitely be a lot more people coming. So Chen Tian was not in a hurry and returned to his hut safely. When night fell, the discussion sounded again in the residences of various villages. Maki, are you sure you can get into the top 20? As long as we show our strong power, more people will come to our village to entrust us. Don't worry, Lord Sand Shadow, I can definitely defeat them, and even Konoha's demon Chen Tian. The light of ambition in Maki's eyes was not concealed, and he secretly stared at Chen Tian. At this time, Terumi Medi and King were also discussing. King, have you observed Chen Tian today? Are you sure you can defeat him? Reporting to Lord Mizukichi, I didn't have the opportunity to observe him, but I'm confident that I can defeat him. How strong can a child under 10 years old be? It must be Konoha deliberately hyped him up. King was very disdainful of Chen Tian's big name and didn't take it seriously at all. On the contrary, people like Hatake Kakashi might be a greater danger to him. Chen Tian? Not a concern. Except for Kakashi and Kei, the players from other villages either because of their rage or because of other purposes, all locked on Chen Tian. Before they really saw him, no one would believe that Chen Tian would be so powerful. Just like in the previous life, Chen Tian would not believe that there was an 8-year-old child who started from scratch and became the richest man. In just one night, the news about the first ninja tournament in the ninja world spread out. As time passed, the news would even become more and more fierce and eventually spread throughout the ninja world. But this is all in the future. Chen Tian and others woke up, and it was already the next morning. Ninjas are about efficiency, so the lottery started soon. First game, Hatake Kakashi vs Senjutsu Nade. Second game, Maki vs Killer Bee. Third game, Might Guy vs Rosa. Fourth game, King vs Chen Tian. Fifth game. Sixth game. There are a total of 16 games, all of which are the upper ninjas who qualified yesterday against the shadow level strongmen. This is also to prevent the shadow level strongmen from meeting first, so as to collide with each other. After seeing this lottery, these people were nervous and wanted to fight. Only King was full of ecstasy. He actually met Chen Tian, so he would be sure to enter the top 16. After that, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. If a Jonin defeats a cage level strongman, he will definitely become famous. Maki and others were full of envy, and they wished they could change opponents with King. Others also saw their expressions. Kakashi suppressed his smile in his heart and maintained his cold personality. What a fool. It's better to fight against the Raikage than to fight against Zaoshin. Wait for your bad luck. Kakashi secretly complained in his heart, and the gossip fire in his eyes was already burning. Thinking of his previous sparring with Chen Tian, he shuddered. He still remembered the taste of the secret of Konoha Taijutsu, 1,000 years of killing, and he definitely didn't want to encounter it again. After the list of players was announced, the game officially began. The first to play were Kakashi and Tsunade. Kakashi, how do you want to lose? Perhaps because of more contact with Chen Tian, Tsunade also became dark-hearted. The malicious expression on her face made Kakashi shudder. He quickly raised his hand and shouted, "Referee, I give up." TSK, that's boring. Tsunade walked off the stage in dissatisfaction after saying that. I survived. Kakashi relaxed immediately and also left the stage. Tsunade had cast a huge shadow on his heart, much bigger than Chen Tian. because she would beat you to a cripple and then beat you to a cripple again after you are healed. She is simply a demon. Although the audience was dissatisfied, they did not dare to say anything and could only look forward to the next game. Second game, Maki and Killer Bee, please come on stage. Without letting them wait any longer, the host started calling people in less than a minute. You'd better give up. I'm the Killer Bee of the Cloud Shadow. Killer Bee's tone was still weird, but Maki did not give up just like that, but took advantage of Killer Bee's words to launch a sneak attack. But the cage level is still the cage level after all, not to mention that Killer Bee is the 8-Tails Jinchuriki, so Maki lost as expected. Then the third game began, which was also the game that Chen Tian was most looking forward to. What will be the outcome of the match between Might Guy who can open 6 gates and the 4th Kazakage Rosa? As expected by Chen Tian, this match was the most intense. 6 Gate Guy once forced Rosa into a disadvantage and injured him many times. Unfortunately, when the final winner was decided, Guy's body collapsed first, allowing Rosa to win. Even so, Rosa was covered in wounds and recovered after Tsunade personally treated him. Damn, this watermelon rind is too strong. He almost defeated the Kazakage. That's right, he looks like a pervert in his clothes, but his strength is simply terrifying. What a pity. If this watermelon rind could meet Chen Tian, he would probably win. Others nodded in agreement, thinking that what this brother said made a lot of sense. At this time, the referee's words rang again. The 4th game, King vs Chen Tian. The game begins. Chen Tian, Konoha deliberately flatters you. Today I will let you show your true colors. King not only did not take the initiative, but also said confidently. 3 big greetings appeared on Chen Tian's forehead. This guy must be a fool. I don't understand what he said. Since you don't want to make a move, I'll send you down. Chen Tian put aside the previous thoughts and was too lazy to play house with King. When the next instant body technique came in front of King, a Rasengan appeared in his right hand. King's reaction was also very fast. After seeing Chen Tian's action, he opened his eyes immediately. But the purple chakra in Chen Tian's body shone brightly and instantly pierced his tears. His eyes blurred, and he could not see anything. The next moment, the Rasengan fell hard on his chest, and King flew out of the ring in a whirlpool. Chapter 81 The War Between Two Women. How is it possible? Staring at Chen Tian in a daze, King spat out a mouthful of old blood, and felt his eyes darken. He was just a child under 10 years old. How could he have such a huge chakra? Until now, King's eyes were still as dazzling as the sun. Even the 5 Kage present could not compare with Chen Tian. Looking at the dumbfounded King in confusion, Chen Tian hurried off the stage, fearing that dementia would be contagious. The audience had already exploded. I didn't expect that Lord Chen Tian was so strong that he defeated an Ali Jonin with one move. Yeah, that King didn't even react, and he was already seriously injured and flew out of the ring. Looking at his expression before, he looked down on Lord Chen Tian. Now he knows how powerful he is. The people of the far country breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Chen Tian didn't embarrass himself, and then they spoke a lot louder. This made people from other countries unhappy. We all wanted to see you embarrass yourself, but you killed us in 1 second. This Chen Tian has some skills, but he is still far behind other cage level masters. He can only bully the Jonin. That's right. Among the 16 cage level masters this time, he ranks only 16th at most. He is definitely not a match for the others. How can you be so proud of a cage level master bullying a Jonin and hitting him so hard? The sarcastic words of these people made the people of the far country itch with anger, and they wanted to smash their mouths. You are talking nonsense. Lord Chen Tian will definitely get a good result. Even if it doesn't work this time, who in your village can resist Lord Chen Tian in a few years? I think you are just jealous. Our far country is better than you. If you don't accept it, bite me. Although they said so, even these people did not think that Chen Tian could defeat other cage level masters. Now he is just being tough and pretending to be strong. For a time, the atmosphere between the audiences of the far country and other countries became tense. They stared at each other, and no one was convinced. In the VIP seats of the 5 great daimyos, maids kept delivering fresh fruits and food. The daimyo of the Land of Fire pointed at the ring and complained, "Look, Konoha is so powerful now, I don't have any say at all." but his face was full of pride, just showing off the strength of his country. Although the other 4 daimyos were furious, they could only swallow their anger. Who forced the daimyo of the Land of Fire to return the population last time? Now he is used to pretending. What can you do? Humph, don't be complacent. That Chenshin is just pretending now. When the cage level fight comes later, he won't be able to last even 1 round. The daimyo of the Land of Lightning snorted angrily, his tone full of disdain for Chenshin. Then let's make a bet. Let's bet on whether Chenshin can win the first game. How about betting 100 million? Playing with the emerald ring on his thumb, the daimyo of the Land of Fire's half smile immediately angered the other 4. I made a bet with you. I bet he can't do it. I bet he can't do it, too. And me too. Just 100 million is nothing to the daimyo. For their own face, they acted without hesitation. Chenshin was sharp-eyed and sharp-eared, and he could hear clearly the discussion of tens of thousands of people. Before he got angry, the little guy Uchiha Itachi came to him and said, Master Chenshin, they dared to say that to you. You must defeat those people and get first place. The anger on that little face made Chenshin laugh so hard that he almost laughed out loud. After Chenshin improved the relationship between Uchiha and Konoha, there was naturally no more dirty stuff between the 2 sides. Itachi didn't have to be exposed to those things since he was a child, so he still maintained the innocence of a child. Now, apart from the Uchiha clan and Konoha villagers, his only identity is Chenshin's die-hard little fan. Although the fight between Chenshin and King caused a quarrel among the audience, it did not affect the subsequent competition. After they left, the next group of contestants took turns to go on stage and continue to win and lose. Whenever a ninja from their own country came on stage, there would be a burst of cheers from the audience, and the atmosphere was extremely warm. But in the subsequent fights, no Jonin could make waves. This was more or less unsatisfying, and they looked forward to tomorrow's fight even more. In fact, it's not that no one wants to kill in the ring. After all, the war has only ended a few years ago, and hatred is still engraved in their bones. But with the joint pressure of the shadows of the 5 major ninja villages, these people naturally dare not continue. The 5 shadows are all smart people, and they know that now is not the time to turn against each other. And what hatred? Isn't it all for profit? Even if you lose, you can reduce the population and reduce the consumption of the village a lot. These things are well known to everyone, so they tacitly did not speak, each with a frown, looking like a stranger away. Chen Tian was waiting for the end of the game with little interest, and Meitarumi suddenly came over. Little brother, do you want to come to our Kirigami village? I can agree to anything you want, ignoring the crazy suggestive look of King who was being treated by Tsunade. Terumi Medi winked at Chenshin with a rosy face. HMPH. Tsunade threw the almost recovered King out and instantly stood between Terumi Medi and Chenshin, not giving the 2 a chance to look at each other. Chenshin is the darling of the entire Konoha, and this woman actually wants to kidnap him? It's simply unforgivable. Kushina also rushed over without saying a word, fighting side by side with Tsunade and glaring at Terumi Medi together. Zyoshin is doing well in our Konoha. Instead of this effort, you might as well find a way to marry yourself off. With her hands folded across her chest, Tsunade was actually very shrewd and glanced at Terumi Medi's chest with disdain. Although Terumi Medi is not bad, she is not as good as her. Sparks quickly appeared on Terumi's head, and she gritted her teeth and said, "You old woman, what did you say? I'm an old woman, and you're an old leftover woman who can't get married." Chen Tian looked at the 2 of them helplessly and sighed pretentiously. Then he watched happily. Isn't it the most beautiful thing to see women fighting? What's more, these are 2 beautiful women with perfect looks and figures. It would be a pity not to watch it. As for the arena and the competition, I don't know what they are. This is not good. This is not good. I'll go and stop the fight when I've seen enough. I'm the 5th youth of the new century, and I must do what is right. Although they thought so, the expectant expression made everyone silent. Is this really a child? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 Nagato's sudden change. The little episode passed quickly, and Shenshin did not see what he expected. Boy, you are having fun watching it. Do you want to come to my house tonight? After Meditarumi left, Tsunade looked at Shenshin with all kinds of charm. But in those charming big eyes, Shenshin felt a trace of murderous intent. Bang! Without waiting for Shenshin to answer, Tsunade punched him hard on the head. Boy, remember, this woman is not simple. Stay away from her in the future. I know. She just came here to test me. I know everything. Touching the rapidly protruding bump on the top of his head, Shenshin held his head and grinned, with a painful expression, and tears almost flowed out. Hearing this, Tsunade was surprised for a moment, and then returned to normal. She kept telling herself in her heart that this boy was a pervert, and she couldn't compare with him. It's okay for strength, but today she even showed off her character. It's a pity that she came to rescue him specially. After watching the whole day's competition with little interest, all the 16 cage level warriors who started the competition all advanced, and none of them failed. After the competition, the next round of drawing lots began. First match, Tsunade vs. Sarutobi Heroes, and second match, Rosa vs. Jiraiya. Third match, Killer Bee vs. Kushina. Fourth match, Orochimaru vs. Minato. Fifth match, Meditarumi vs. Old Purple. Seventh match, Inoki vs. Uchiha Fugaku. Eighth match, AI vs. Shenshin. After knowing his match, Shenshin strolled back home and continued to master the Rasengan promotion ninjutsu. When all the major ninja villages gathered, the Akatsuki organization took this opportunity to start their moves. The 5 major ninja villages were not guarded by strong people, so it was like going home for them, which was easy. On the 4th day before the opening of the ninja tournament, Black Zetsu brought the complete information back to the Akatsuki organization. After confirming that there were no powerful ninjas in the major ninja villages, the newly started Akatsuki organization immediately showed its power. Kakuzu, go to the Sand Shadow village and bring back the One Tail. Be quick and come back before Osa and the others return. Kisame, the 5 Tail has also left Konoha. Wait for him on the way to the Rock Shadow village and bring him back. The 7 Tail is in your hands. Deidara, you can fly and are the fastest, so you are the most suitable person to go. As for the 6 Tail, Scorpion, you go. After saying that, Nagato's eyes revealed a hint of pressure in his Samsara eye, which was full of warning. Okay, I will complete the task. Hahaha, explosion is art. I will use my art to bring him back. The One Tail seems to be a child. There is no bounty, so I will go there reluctantly. The expressions of the several people were different. They left the Rain Country and headed towards their own goals. Alas, there are too few people. Otherwise, it would be most appropriate to let them work in pairs. Nagato sighed helplessly. Konan asked in confusion, Nagato, didn't we decide to lie dormant for a few years? Why are you doing it now? This was different from what was discussed before, and Nagato didn't tell him, and made the decision on his own. The weirdest thing was that before this meeting, Nagato didn't have such an idea. But after the meeting started, he made a series of arrangements that made people confused. There were only 2 reasons why Nagato did this. One was that he didn't trust himself, so he did it on purpose. The second was that external influences made him suddenly change his original plan. Thinking of this, Konan felt a little uneasy in his heart, not knowing what the future would be like. Now that the major ninja villages are empty, it is our best opportunity to seize the 4-tailed beasts. The remaining 5-tailed beasts are in Konoha, and we don't have the ability to seize them for the time being, so we can only put them aside for now. When my Samsara eye is fully developed, I will be this god, and no one can stop me from collecting the remaining tailed beasts, very soon, very soon. Covering his eyes, the fanaticism on Nagato's face made Konan a little scared. Konoha didn't know about the Akatsuki organization for the time being, and everyone's heart was on the upcoming competition. Tsunade and Sarutobi Hirozen have already entered the arena. The number of contestants from Konoha is equal to the number of players in the battlefield, so it is inevitable that they will bump into each other. Old man, I won't be polite. Today, I will take revenge and I will take grudges. Tsunade always has a rage in her heart towards Sarutobi Hirozen. The demise of the Senju clan is definitely related to him, and he knows almost all of Danzo's sneaky deeds. If it weren't for Kushina, she would never have returned to Konoha. Now that there is a chance to take revenge openly, Tsunade will naturally not show mercy, as long as she doesn't kill him. Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled bitterly. I have done a lot of wrong things before, and today we will have a full-scale battle between you and me. Super strength fist. With a proud shout, Tsunade's delicate fist hit Sarutobi Hiruzen's face mercilessly. Earth escape, earth flow wall. The title of ninjutsu doctor is not for nothing. Sarutobi Hiruzen made a very fast move and blocked Tsunade's fist in an instant. The small fist was nothing in front of the earth flow wall, but it was this fist that instantly broke the earth flow wall into pieces. Watching the fierce fight between the two, Jiraiya in the contestant seat twitched his eyes. This was too cruel, but thinking of the fate of provoking Tsunade, he felt that this was reasonable. He pushed Chen Tian with his elbow and asked, Zio-shin, who do you think will win between Tsunade and the teacher? Orochimaru, Uchiha Fugaku and others heard this and turned their heads to look at him, obviously curious about this. Tsunade. After a pause, Chen Tian explained, after all, the third generation is old and his strength has declined a lot. Tsunade is in her peak period and she has more chakra, so she should win. Although he said so, Chen Tian didn't think so in his heart. Tsunade is the bloodline of Senju, and Senju is one of the bloodlines of the Six Paths Sage, while the third generation is just an ordinary person, without any special bloodline. In this comparison, Tsunade is from the Otsutsuki family, but the third generation is not. Don't you know that Naruto is also called the intrigues of the Otsutsuki family? How could an ordinary person like the third generation defeat Tsunade? But this can only be said in my heart, and it is impossible to tell others. Sure enough, the battle lasted for more than half an hour, and Tsunade smashed all the ninjutsu of the third generation. In the end, the third generation's chakra was completely exhausted, and Tsunade punched him in the face. After landing, the third generation had fainted, and the nose on his old face collapsed, looking quite miserable. It feels good. After letting out a breath of anger, Tsunade felt relaxed all over, and her body was better than ever. Chapter 83 The Power of Konoha. After Tsunade stepped down, the Konoha Ranbu came in a hurry, and they performed Earth Escape ninjutsu, like they didn't need any money, and tried their best to repair the ring. After the battle between the third generation and Tsunade, the ring that originally looked quite luxurious had been shattered, and could not be seen in its original state. The Zanbu were busy, but the audience around them were excited. When had they ever seen such a fight? Especially Tsunade's fist-to-flesh fight, which completely stimulated the hormones of these people. It was so cool. Unable to help, these people's emotions became more and more excited, and they were looking forward to the next battle. You are really amazing, Zio-shin, you actually guessed it right. Next is my battle, cheer for me. Patting Chen Tian on the shoulder, Jiraiya walked out very heroically and gave Orochimaru a smug look. Chen Tian had no interest in this battle. Jiraiya was definitely one of the best among the people present, and Rosa was one of the last few, so there was nothing to see. Chen Tian even suspected that, if Jiraiya played his best, only the Raikage could face him head on. In addition, Minato, who can fly the Thunder God, will come to entangle Jiraiya, otherwise he is invincible. Of course, all this must exclude Chen Tian. As Chen Tian expected, Jiraiya came back leisurely after just 10 minutes, constantly releasing provocative eyes to Orochimaru. It seemed to say, I have won, what about you? The third match was Killer Bee vs Kushina, which was the battle that Chen Tian was most looking forward to. Who is stronger between the 8 Tails Jinchuriki and the 9 Tails Jinchuriki will soon be revealed. However, this battle disappointed Chen Tian, as Kushina did not use the power of the 9 Tails at all. After going on stage, she cast the diamond seal without saying a word, and the 8 golden chains wrapped Killer Bee like a dumpling without saying a word. The diamond seal is extremely restraining to the tailed beasts, and even the 9 Tails has no ability to struggle in front of Kushina, let alone the 8 Tails. Killer Bee, who used the 8 Tails chakra, fell into Kushina's hands. This battle can be said to be the fastest one, including the time of getting on and off the stage in less than a minute. Chen Tian smiled bitterly and shook his head, wondering how he could have forgotten such an important thing. Not far from him, Laozi witnessed Killer Bee's miserable state with his own eyes. Looking at Kushina, who was striding over, his eyes were full of fear. Being tied up with chains in front of tens of thousands of people, and then spreading throughout the ninja world, he would be socially dead. He secretly prayed that he would not meet Kushina, or that he had deliberately lost this game. The fourth game, Orochimaru vs Minato. When the two came on the court, the audience suddenly burst into unprecedented cheers, and the atmosphere was extremely high. This was also a belated battle. There should have been a battle between the two when the fourth Hokage was elected, but it has been delayed until now. So far, the battle between the two can be said to be the most enjoyable to watch. Orochimaru's various unprecedented novel ninjutsu followed one after another, making people dazzled. Minato's flying thunder god was superb, and his figure could be seen in every corner of the arena, and the audience's eyes could not catch up with his speed. Minato's Rasengan hit Orochimaru many times, but Orochimaru's snake-style substitution technique restored him to his original state again and again. And Orochimaru's ninjutsu was powerful, but he couldn't hit Minato. The two of them were in a stalemate, and neither of them could do anything to the other. If we continue to fight like this, it will depend on who has more chakra. Shaking his head, Chen Tian was really helpless with the two of them. One can't be killed, and the other can't be hit. What can you do? The two people on the field naturally saw this situation. Just when Minato wanted to admit defeat, Orochimaru took the lead. Referee, I admit defeat. Ever since Chen Tian taught him science, Orochimaru no longer cared about winning or losing. And he also had feelings for Konoha, where his buddies, teammates, teachers, and friends were. As a Hokage, Minato couldn't just lose like this, at least not so quickly, so it was most appropriate for him to admit defeat. Seeing Orochimaru's choice, Chen Tian smiled with relief, and his dimples were very cute. It was worth all the years of indoctrination that Orochimaru had undergone. Orochimaru had indeed changed. The fifth match, Meditarumi vs Murasaki. The result of this match was unexpected. The beautiful new Mizukage Meditarumi actually defeated the Jinchuriki Murasaki. One person possessing two bloodline limits was truly eye-opening. Especially since the Mizukage was so beautiful, the audience couldn't bear to blink. However, everyone who knew about it looked at Chen Tian. He seemed to have the most bloodline limits, right? Although he didn't use them very often, as far as they knew, he had at least 5. Chen Tian naturally saw the looks of these people and smiled slowly before not paying attention to them. After winning, Meditarumi once walked gracefully to Chen Tian's side, but was stopped by Tsunade again. It's helpless. Wouldn't it be better for the two of you to sit on one side? Why do you have to squeeze together? He felt sorry for her, but Chen Tian still looked righteous, not thinking about anything. The 7th match, Inoki vs Uchiha Fugaku. This battle was the most noisy, and some spectators even retreated out of fear. Inoki's dust release is the most lethal attack available, and almost nothing can resist it. Uchiha Fugaku summoned Susanoo, and the skeleton frame that was 30 or 40 meters high was also very scary. Especially Inoki, his legs softened when he saw Susanoo, and he remembered the fear that Uchiha Madara brought to him. After the fierce fight between the two, the original ring disappeared, leaving only a deep pit. In the end, Inoki's dust release still penetrated Uchiha Fugaku's Susanoo and barely won. Susanoo has a total of 4 stages, and Fugaku is only in the 2nd stage now, so it's not surprising that he lost. If he can go further, he should be able to beat the old man Inoki. The competition has only the last match of AI vs Chen Tian left. Although the last battle has not yet begun, because those ninjas are repairing the ring. But these ninjas are already more afraid of Konoha. Konoha has 8 cage level warriors. Even if Chen Tian is a fake, none of the others can be underestimated. If it were in other villages, each of these people could become a cage and rule the entire village. But in Konoha, there are so many such people, it's simply terrifying. His eyes swept across the faces of Jiraiya, Minato, Kushina, Uchiha Fugaku, Orochimaru, Tsunade and Sarutobi Hiruzen, and everyone was in a heavy mood. Chen Tian touched his nose awkwardly. Am I being ignored? Chapter 84, Angry at the Foreshadows. There is only one match left in the round of 16, which is the battle between Chen Tian and Raikage. This battle can be said to be a much anticipated one. Reikage is one of the strongest among the 5 cages. And Chenshin's reputation is not weaker than his, and even stronger. He is so legendary, and his strength is completely unreasonable, which makes everyone unbelievable. Finally, it's the last match. It will be revealed soon, whether Chenshin is strong or weak. He is sure to lose. Reikage is one of the top 2 strong men among the 5 cages. Chenshin can't almost win. It's good enough to hold on for a few moves. I think so too. If it were someone other than Reikage and Hokage, he might have a chance, but against these 2 people, tut tut. Fortunately, I didn't bet on Chenshin to win, otherwise I would have lost everything. Everyone was not optimistic about Chenshin, and no one thought he could defeat Reikage. Next is the last match, AI vs Chenshin. Please go on stage. As the referee's voice sounded, Chenshin and Reikage looked at each other and stood up. But at this moment, all the ninjas from various countries came to their own cage and whispered something in his ear. What? You said Gaara was kidnapped? Rosa was shocked when he heard Maka's words. Gaara is his son. Although he doesn't care about this son, he cares about the tailed beast in Gaara's body. Anoki, who showed the same expression, was also full of anger. The 4-tailed old purple was still here, but the 5-tailed man was kidnapped halfway. This is not taking their village seriously. The Reikage, Minato and Meditarumi looked at each other, not knowing what happened and why Rosa and Anoki were so angry. Hokage, did you do this? Anoki slapped the table, and his old face was full of murderous intent. Konoha asked them to participate in some ninja conference. After they left, the village was attacked and all the tailed beasts were captured. However, the Jinchuriki who came to Konoha did not encounter any attacks. No matter how you look at it, there is a problem. Even Rosa, who has allied with Konoha, looked at Minato with suspicion at this time. What happened? Can you tell me clearly? After calming down Chenshin and Orochimaru who were bursting with momentum, Minato finally had the opportunity to ask. The main reason was that Chenshin was very upset with Anoki's seniority, and after he burst out with momentum, Orochimaru and others naturally supported him. Anoki's face was extremely ugly, but seeing that Konoha had a large number of people, he did not dare to act rashly. The 5-tailed Jinchuriki of our village was kidnapped after leaving Konoha. Doesn't it have anything to do with you? And our Sand Shadow village, my son was kidnapped in the village. He is the 1-tailed Jinchuriki. Rosa was unwilling to lag behind. His anxiety was beyond words, and everyone could see it clearly. Hearing this, the eyes of the Reikage and the Mizukage looking at Minato also changed a little. The 2 human Jinchuriki of the Cloud Shadow village are here, and the tailed beasts of the water country were captured by Konoha a few years ago. This is a well-known fact. Could it be that Konoha is now so powerful that it wants to take back all the tailed beasts distributed by the first generation Hokage? As soon as this thought came up, the ninjas from the 4 countries approached each other, ready to join forces to deal with Minato and others. They had seen the strength of Konoha. At this time, there was no other way except to join forces. After all, this was Konoha. Looking at the little actions of these people, Minato smiled helplessly, not knowing how to explain. Now Konoha has the right time, right place, and right people. No matter what you say, these people will not believe it. Right time, this is a time when Konoha has the most people. Almost all ninjas are here. Right place, this is Konoha. The ninjas from other countries add up to only more than 100, which is no different from a drop of water in the ocean. Right people, Konoha has 8 cage level strongmen, even if it goes to war with the other 4 villages directly. But even if you think so, you still have to explain what needs to be explained. But no matter what Minato said, these people had the same expression. I don't believe it, unless I leave Konoha now. Looking at Minato's earnest look, Kushina felt a little distressed, and couldn't help holding Chenshin's little hand. Sensing Kushina's mood, Chenshin became unhappy, and slammed the table with a bang. He stood up abruptly and said, "Who is stupid, or are you stupid? Are you, a bunch of misfits, worthy of our conspiracy?" Glancing at them with disdain, Chenshin continued, "First of all, it's the Cloud Shadow village. Last time, a few of us almost wiped you out. If you wanted the tailed beast, we would have taken it long ago. Why wait until now? I was Shadow Village. You are not weak, but apart from the old immortal Anoki, what else do you have? 10,000 ninjas killed the 3rd Reikage? Come on. Come on, try to kill us all. I don't even bother to talk about the Sand Shadow Village. Don't you have any idea of what Konoha you are? Pick any one of the 8 people standing here and see if I can destroy half of your village. The Mist Shadow Village is the most interesting. One of your tailed beasts ran away, and the remaining one was sealed in the body of a Konoha ninja by you. Now you are standing here on guard? You have breasts but no brains? Chen Tian's little mouth was grumbling, and the 4 major villages called out their names one by one, making these people's faces as black as the bottom of a pot. Kushina, Tsunade and others stared at Chen Tian in amazement, as if they had seen a new world. They had known each other for so long. How could they not know that Chen Tian's little mouth was so powerful? He was always scolding people and exposing their shortcomings. After saying this, Chen Tian's depression was reduced a lot. I don't know who Minato and Kushina are related to. If they are not happy, you can't expect to have a good life. Even Chen Tian had thought about it. If these people continue to be excited, he would leave them all here, and Konoha would unify the ninja world. At most, he would be more diligent. Seeing Chen Tian's eyes clearly revealing murderous intent, Orochimaru, Tsunade and others who had agreed to the battle line with Chen Tian around him, these people knew what to do and didn't continue talking. But they kept cursing in their hearts. There were 8 cage level strong men in Konoha, except Minato and Jiraiya, who were also trying to smooth things over. Why did everyone else listen to this little brat? They were not really idiots. They were right to suspect Konoha when the village had not sent them any specific information. But after being scolded by Chen Tian, they also realized it. Konoha is only slightly weaker than when Ashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha were around. It is already the 2nd strongest. If Konoha really wants the tailed beasts, they can only have a little resistance if they unite. But the biggest possibility is that they will be wiped out by Konoha. There is no need for Konoha to do that. Chapter 85 3 years. Understanding is one thing, but being scolded by a little kid made everyone blush. If the other party was not outnumbered, they would have let Chen Tian know why the flowers were so red. After seeing these people calm down, Chen Tian knew that it was not appropriate to continue the fight. Since it had nothing to do with him, he was too lazy to argue with these people, and returned home alone. After Chen Tian left, the atmosphere at the scene really eased a little. Minato handed the issues of the meeting to Kakashi, and took the Raikage, Mizukage and others back to the Hokage's office. If you have anything to say, please tell us quickly. We still have to rush to the village. Although those people have left, who knows if they will come back? These cages can't wait to return and deal with these things personally. Minato didn't delay, and said on the spot, it's like this. When Kushina gave birth, there was also a person wearing a black outfit with red clouds to make trouble. They released the Ninetales. So, I think the people who plundered the tailed beasts are them. According to our information, this is an organization. We don't know how many people there are for the time being. Chen Tian didn't tell Minato these things, so Minato knew all of them through his own investigation, and the information was not much. But these words were enough to make other cages cautious. When the Jinchuriki gave birth, Konoha must have arranged enough manpower, not to mention that the Ninetales Jinchuriki was the Hokage's wife. Even in this case, those people released the Ninetales, and their power can be imagined. I wonder if Mr. Hokage has any other information? The Raikage knocked on the table with his index finger, and his tone was much more polite. I don't know the specific information, but that person admitted that he was Uchiha Madara. But he died at the hands of Chen Tian in the end, which shows that what he said was untrue. Looking at the faces of the people who suddenly changed color, Minato continued, although we don't know who the other party is, their purpose is self-evident, otherwise it must be the tailed beast. After saying everything he knew, Minato quietly observed the faces of the people. After hearing the name of Uchiha Madara, a trace of fear appeared on the faces of several people. Knowing that it was a fake, they relaxed again. We will continue to investigate this matter after we return to the village. No matter who the other party is, he will definitely pay a price. Now that the Sand Shadow Village and the Mist Shadow Village have lost their tailed beasts, why don't we jointly protect the remaining Jinchuriki? Seeing that everyone had almost finished talking, Minato finally stated his purpose. These villages are not strong enough to protect their own tailed beasts. Minato wanted to take the initiative, to provide help to prevent the secret organization from continuing to act. Unfortunately, he thought too well. Don't worry, Mr. Hokage, we can protect the Jinchuriki of our own village ourselves. Our Iwakage village is powerful, we were just taken advantage of. How could we be afraid of a mere coward? The Raikage and the Iwakage refused outright. Although Rosa and Meitarumi did not speak, their meaning was very obvious. Since the matter here is settled, we will leave first. As soon as the voice fell, these people could not wait to leave Konoha and return to their own villages at full speed. Although Minato was helpless, he did not say much. Anyway, the Three Tails and the Nine Tails were in Konoha, so there was no need to worry. After getting this news, Chen Tian smiled and shook his head. These people have not realized the seriousness of the matter. But he didn't want to continue to care about these things. The Six Paths Sage was behind the scenes, and he didn't have the strength to stop it. It is better to concentrate on improving his own strength, and after the system upgrade is completed, he will raise his strength to the Six Paths level. No matter what the Six Paths Sage wants to do, no matter what he secretly plans, he can just press him to the ground and rub him. All the major ninja villages left, and the Ninja Road conference could not continue. Although the audience was a little dissatisfied, no one dared to cause trouble. After Konoha announced the news, they left one after another. In the Akatsuki organization, Nagato was very satisfied when he saw the members returning with a full load. A group of people worked day and night for 12 days, and finally absorbed all the tailed beasts into the outer path demon statue. Afterwards, everyone followed Nagato's order and split up into smaller groups, distributing themselves to various parts of the ninja world, to prevent the major ninja villages from being caught in one fell swoop. He himself was fully developing his pair of Samsara eyes. As long as he fully mastered this god's eye, he would be a true god, and then he would attack Konoha directly. After the 4 major ninja villages returned, the shadows immediately sent a large number of people to inquire about the news. Although they found some clues, they did not gain anything substantial. In this way, time began to pass day by day, and Chen Tian lived alone on the top of the Hokage rock since that day, without leaving once. During this time, he learned all the powerful ninjutsu in the original work, and practiced them to a good level. He mastered all the development of the Rasengan, and the subsequent development of the Chidori was also not delayed. In addition to these, there was no ninjutsu in Konoha's seal book, except the Shikigami Fujin, that he did not know. The most important thing is that perhaps, because of Chen Tian's powerful strength, the blood red eyes were automatically upgraded to 3 Megatama. According to his own guess, Chen Tian felt that he had reached the limit of the shadow level. But after the system upgrade, the system panel cannot be viewed, so Chen Tian is not very sure. Realizing that he has no room for improvement in a short period of time, he gave up the idea of cultivation and concentrated on farming. Except for Minato, Kushina, Kakashi might die, and others who come occasionally, almost no one in Konoha can see Chen Tian. As time goes by, Chen Tian almost becomes a legend in Konoha, and gradually there is no one to talk about other things. In this way, 3 years have passed quickly. In these 3 years, Konoha has made great progress. The Thunder Car in Naruto has connected the entire land of fire. The children of Uchiha Itachi's generation have also grown up. Itachi, who graduated early, has become the new first genius of Konoha with a great reputation. In addition, the 5 major countries have made every effort to track down, but they have not found any information about the Akatsuki organization. Chen Tian does not need to guess. Black Zetsu and Nagato cannot do all this. It is obvious that the 6 old ghosts behind are making trouble. Of course, the most important thing is that the 5 powerful and 4 youngest of the 12 Konoha are about to go to school. But unfortunately, among these 12, except for Naruto who was brought to see Kushina a few times, Chen Tian has never seen the others. Unlike the original novel, the little Naruto has no 9 tails to disturb his chakra. Little Naruto is an absolute genius. At the age of 4, he has already extracted chakra, and is learning the 3-body technique with Kushina. Chapter 86, A Wholehearted System. On this day, Chen Tian got up early in the morning, and sat in the yard waiting excitedly. 3 years have passed, and today is a day when the system wakes up. After 3 years of growth, Chen Tian is no longer the child he was before. Although he is only 11 years old, he is already 1.65 meters tall, and his cute face has begun to transform, adding a touch of handsomeness. Waiting and waiting, waiting, and waiting, until noon, the system prompt sound suddenly sounded. Ding, the system upgrade is completed. Stupid host, do you miss this system? Heh. With a chuckle, this broken system still remembers the things that he said before the upgrade. It's too stingy. But to be honest, Chen Tian was panicked after crossing over, and it was a system that accompanied him all the way and gave him the opportunity to become stronger. So Chen Tian has long regarded the system as one of his family members. How could he be angry because of such a joke? Dog system, you slept for 3 years. I thought you were dead. Seeing the system wake up, Chen Tian was no longer in a hurry to check, but wanted to chat with the system instead. The chat lasted until the evening. After happily eating 3 bowls of rice, Chen Tian said, tell me about your upgraded abilities. After the system upgrade, you still only have the ability to pick up cards. I didn't expect that. And there are many restrictions. There was a hint of ridicule in the system's voice, as if it wanted to see Chen Tian's face. But he was disappointed. Chen Tian's expression did not change. He could only explain dejectedly, when you were weak, it was this system that supported you with its own energy, so you could pick up cards at will. But now you have become stronger, the system does not have so much energy to provide, and this system cannot give you special treatment. You can only follow the rules. From now on, anyone who is 1 level weaker than you will not be able to drop cards. The drop rate of people at the same level as you is only half. The stronger the strength, the greater the chance of dropping. I knew all this a long time ago. Show me the new system panel. Does it meet my requirements? Chen Tian's face did not change at all. He had guessed what the system said before. Before crossing, he had read a lot of system novels, but he had never seen a system like his own. If he was ruthless enough to kill people all over the world, wouldn't his strength be beyond heaven? Moreover, at the beginning, cards would drop whenever someone fought, but later he had to kill them himself. With this series of changes, the system's requirements became more and more demanding, which was completely opposite to the system in the novel, and it was very suspicious. But after 3 years of thinking, Chen Tian knew that it was because his strength was getting stronger and stronger, and the system could no longer afford it. All those things before were done by the system in order to make him stronger quickly, and it overdrew its own strength. Because Chen Tian clearly remembered that once, when he was chatting with the system told him, this system is just a low-level one. It has no ability to travel through the worlds, and can only become stronger in this world. But what is the upper limit of the Naruto world? 6 paths level. So when Chen Tian reached the 6 paths level, although the system would not leave, it could not help him at all. 6 paths is the limit of the system, unless he can go to other worlds, but the system itself does not have that function, so Chen Tian has no choice. While he was daydreaming, the system said proudly, this time the system panel is completely customized according to your requirements, and there is another chance to modify it by yourself. How about it? I'm awesome, right? Host, Chen Tian. Physical strength, elite jonin, swordsmanship, swordsman. Physical skills, 8 gates, ninjutsu, 1689 types, genjutsu, 1100 types, sealing technique, 368 types, medical ninjutsu, 123 types, strength, cage level peak. Note, please click to view details. After checking all these options, Chen Tian nodded with satisfaction. All kinds of bloodline limits are classified into ninjutsu according to their effects, including the blood-colored eyes. This page is clean and refreshing, and it is well divided into categories. It is easy to check anything you want, which fully meets his requirements. Not bad, you performed well this time. Chen Tian rarely praised the system. But the system was not happy. Instead it said very depressedly, this is my last upgrade. When you reach the 6 paths level, I will have no other functions, except the system panel. Hearing this, Chen Tian was silent for a while, not knowing what to say. Not to mention, that the system does not have the ability to travel through the world. Even if it does, he is unwilling to leave, while Kushina and Minato are still alive. The system can only wait until he is old, but can he leave this world by then? Even if he leaves, is his age enough to support himself to help the system upgrade all the time? The system wants to upgrade, which is completely based on his continuous strengthening. Only when his strength reaches a certain stage, the system will upgrade. Thinking of this, Chen Tian suddenly became a little irritable and quickly excluded all these thoughts and quickly calmed down. He turned to the system and asked, "How should I improve my strength now? Do you have any good plans?" According to the information in the host's memory, it is best to let nature take its course at present. The best opportunity for the host will come after the fourth war begins. The host is already the strongest now, and there are not many cage level players who can produce cards. But after the fourth war, the host can upgrade himself to the peak of the super cage level through the Akatsuki organization and the strong ones who are reborn from the impure world reincarnation. And there are Uchiha Madara, Kaguya and the Six Paths Sage, as well as the person who may replace Obito, a full 4 Six Paths level players who can produce cards. After discussing with the system for a night, Chen Tian also determined how he should go in the future. According to the system's advice, he should stay put now and give his enemies some room to grow, which is also to prevent the Six Paths from running out and destroying him. After the fourth war begins, Naruto and Sasuke will have grown up almost, and he will follow them to get kills and upgrade to the peak of the super cage level. Then use Naruto and Sasuke to kill all the Six Paths level players and produce more cards. This is to maximize the benefits. If Chen Tian picks up a Six Paths level card, he will probably become a Six Paths level strongman, and then the system will be useless. But as long as he kills a few more Six Paths at the Super Shadow level, and then picks up all the cards at once, his strength will definitely improve by leaps and bounds. In this way, even if the system picks up the effect, Chen Tian will at least be at the peak of the Six Paths, and nothing will threaten him from then on. To be honest, the system is so wholeheartedly devoted to him, and even before it loses its effect, it wants to make him as powerful as possible. Chen Tian is really moved. Chapter 87 Meeting Xiaonan. When Chen Tian was communicating with the system, King, the envoy of the Land of Water, came to Konoha, hoping that Konoha could participate in the Chunin exam they held. After 3 years, the Mist Village finally broke free from the Blood Mist Village and barely recovered some vitality. The Chunin exam was held at this time to show their strength and bring more tasks to the village. At the same time, King also vaguely mentioned the matter of taking back the three-tailed beast, which was rejected by Minato without hesitation. It's not that the three-tailed beast will not be returned, but it will not be returned before Haranorin is alive. Otherwise, if the tailed beast is extracted, will Haranorin die? This is the disciple of the Hokage. After King left, Minato directly threw this task to Chen Tian, who made him the only one in Konoha who had nothing to do. After Chen Tian refused in every possible way, he still failed, and could only reluctantly agree. There were a total of 3 people in a team participating in the Chunin exam, including Uchiha Itachi of the Uchiha clan, Hyuga Tatsuya of the Hyuga clan, and Uchiha Raizumi, a little girl who bravely volunteered. Originally, the third person had other plans, but this little girl secretly found Chen Tian, and only then did she get this opportunity. Chen Tian knew that Uchiha Raizumi's real intention was not to have sex, so he was naturally happy to help her and Itachi. Although the 2 children are still young, love should start from childhood, right? 3 days later, in the morning, Uchiha Fugaku and Hyuga Hayashi personally brought the 3 children to the scene. Chen Tian, Jonin, I'll leave the child Ryuya to you. Seeing Chen Tian, Hayashi forced an ugly smile. He was used to being serious on weekdays, so it was a bit difficult to smile at this time. Fugaku and Chen Tian were much more familiar with each other, and he was not as polite as Hayashi. He smiled lightly and pushed Itachi over. I'll leave my son to you. Anyway, he is your little fanboy, so you can do it yourself. Take care of this girl Izumi. Haha, don't worry, I will definitely take good care of them. Chen Tian's chest was thumping. He was very familiar with Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Raizumi, 2 children under 10 years old. But this strength is not weak at all. Itachi can easily kill a Chunin. Although not as strong as Chen Tian at that time, it can also be ranked among the top few in Konoha's history. Hyuga Ryu is also a little older. He looks like he is about 12 or 13 years old, about the same height as Chen Tian. He doesn't know how strong he is, but his chakra is almost at the level of elite Chunin, worthy of being a member of the Hyuga clan. After being said by Fugaku, Itachi was a little embarrassed and walked behind Chenshin with a red face. On the contrary, Izumi was generous and not nervous at all. Hyuga Ryu is also the most interesting. This guy doesn't look like a member of the Hyuga clan at all. Instead, he has a personality similar to that of the future Naruto. After seeing Chenshin, he let him go. If Hayashi was not still there, he would probably pounce on him. After chatting with the two for a few words, he asked Minato for an entry and exit permit, and set off with the three little brats. Mr. Chenshin, are we going to the Land of Water on foot? As soon as he left Konoha, Hyuga Ryu also blinked wildly, and kept hinting to Chenshin, who in Konoha doesn't know that Chenshin flies when he travels. This is unique to Konoha. As a child, even a ninja, who doesn't want to fly in the sky, even the calm and wise Uchiha Itachi was full of expectations at this time. Haha. Shaking his head with a smile, Chen Tian said, we will fly there and fulfill your wish. Being with these children, Chen Tian, who has lived to lives, feels that he is also a child. Would dragon boat technique. A huge tree suddenly grew in front of them, and little by little it turned into a wooden boat, which was parked on the ground steadily. Get on board. With a call, the three little guys climbed up impatiently. Light heavy rock technique. A slap on the wooden boat, the boat flew up steadily, floating more than 100 meters. Then with a whoosh, it rushed towards the Land of Water, much faster than the speed of the Jonin. Chen Tian's current chakra is more than enough to fly from Konoha to the Land of Water, and there is no pressure at all. At first, the three children were a little excited, looking around and having fun. But after a long time, when the excitement passed, they sat on the boat board and began to refine chakra. Hold on tight, we are going to speed up. Suddenly sensing a familiar chakra, Chenshin's face changed, and he instantly increased his flying speed. But not long after, his face became bitter and he looked ahead with a sad face. There was a beautiful figure, with a pair of paper wings behind her flapping constantly, making her float in the air. Run again. Xiaonan's face was a little dark, and she wanted to blow Chenshin's dog head. She came out to perform the task, but she didn't expect to see Chenshin from a distance. When she was about to catch up, Chenshin suddenly accelerated. As a result, Xiaonan spent a lot of effort to catch up, and almost let Chenshin run away. Xiaonan also knew that, if she didn't die together, she would probably not be Chenshin's opponent, but she still chased after him without hesitation. Touching the back of his head awkwardly, Chen Tian said with a smile, how dare I? I don't know it's you, Xiaonan. If I knew, how could I run? After a pause, seeing Xiaonan's expression of I don't believe you, Chen Tian hurriedly said, Xiaonan, you come up first. It's so tiring to fly like this. Humph. Xiaonan snorted proudly, and then slowly flew to the wooden boat. The three children in the corner, including Uchiha Itachi, were stunned. Who is this woman? How could she make the Konoha demon so scared? In other words, Chen Tian didn't know what these three little brats were thinking, otherwise he would have to blow their heads off. What is fear? In the current ninja world, besides the Six Paths Sage, is there anyone who can scare me? This is called respect. Do you know that this beautiful woman in front of me saved my life and really treats me as a younger brother? It is for this reason that Chen Tian is unwilling to take action against Xiaonan. Let someone else from the Akatsuki organization try and see if that person can go back alive. After getting on the boat, Xiaonan was speechless for a long time. She caught up on impulse. She didn't know what to say now. Should she ask Chenshin why he left the Rain Country? He was originally a ninja of Konoha. There was nothing wrong with that. Or should she ask why Chenshin lied to her? It seemed that everything from beginning to end was made up by her mind. Chenshin never said that he was a homeless child. Thinking of this, Xiaonan suddenly became a little irritated and glared at Chenshin fiercely. This made Chenshin a little puzzled. It seemed that he was fine, so why were you glaring at me? Chapter 88 Wanting the Three Tails. But none of this matters. What matters is whether or not he should tell Konan about Black Zetsu's purpose. Chenshin couldn't bear to watch Konan die. He would repay a favor and double his revenge. Konan picked him up when he couldn't move, preventing him from being killed by other ninjas, and taught him ninjutsu with all his heart, treating him as a younger brother. How similar is this to Kushina back then? How could Chenshin remain indifferent under such circumstances? But Nagato is an indispensable tool, and Chenshin couldn't bring Nagato back with him. It should be impossible to take Konan away alone. But even if there is no chance, it's always right to try. Sister Konan, do you want to join Konoha? I can let you join. Impossible. Konan frowned and said, I'll go first. The tragedy of Konan becoming an orphan was caused by Konoha. How could such a thing be possible? Wait. Seeing that Xiaonan was about to leave without saying anything, Chenshin quickly grabbed her jade hand, took out a shuriken and said, this is my special shuriken, with the flying thunder god sorcerer on it. I can teleport there at any time. Wear it on your body. After putting the shuriken into Xiaonan's palm, Chenshin let Xiaonan go. Since she was unwilling to join Konoha, he should pay more attention to the situation, and go to rescue her at any time. Xiaonan looked at Chenshin suspiciously, and then flew out with the shuriken. Remember to carry it with you, and never lose it. He shouted in the direction where Xiaonan left, and he didn't know whether the other party heard it or not. Only after Xiaonan was completely far away did Chenshin control the ship to continue moving forward. Lord Chenshin, who is that woman? Why are you so afraid of her? Hyuga Ryua's gossip soul burned fiercely, and the light in his eyes surged, almost burying his reason. Bang! A fierce head fell down, and Hyuga Ryua immediately fell on the boat, with a big bump visible on his head. After a few people made a fuss for a while, Chen Tian said leisurely, that person is a disciple of Jiraiya, one of the 3 people, and also my sister. Uchiha Itachi and others nodded thoughtfully, and stopped asking questions. The group was silent all the way, and soon arrived outside the mist shadow level in the land of rain. Slowly lowering the flying boat, Chen Tian took the lead, to walk to the gate of the mist shadow level. Follow up, it's not very safe here. Terumi Mei is a good ruler, but Chen Tian is not sure how far she can go in 3 years. Before Chen Tian and others entered the gate, King had received the news, and came to greet them in person. This person is not an ordinary person, and it is just right for him to greet them. Long time no see, Lord Chen Tian. I didn't expect you to lead the team in person. King, who was killed by Chen Tian in seconds 3 years ago, knew how powerful Chen Tian was. After 3 years, no one knew how strong he was. Even if he had a white eye, he didn't dare to check it. What if he caused Chen Tian's hostility? Anyway, no matter what, as long as he was respectful, everything else would be put aside. Not only King, but also the entire ninja world. As Chenshin gets older, people pay more and more attention to him. When he was young, people could look down on him, but who would dare to look down on him when he grows up? If you are not afraid of losing your head, just give it a try. It's been a long time since we last met. You Mist Shadow have recovered well. Chenshin also gave King enough face. After arranging the 3 little guys of Uchiha Itachi, King invited, Lord Mizukage wants to meet you. What do you think? Okay. Chenshin was still willing to meet the beautiful girl Terumi Mei. You lead the way. Yes, this way. King showed a smile of relief, and did not dare to hesitate at all. Soon, the 2 of them had arrived at the Mizukage office. Lord, please come in. I'll be waiting outside. Nodding, Chenshin pushed the door open and walked in. Terumi Mei was happy when she saw Chenshin, but then she became serious in an instant, and her attitude became much more serious. Although Chenshin was just standing there, he put a lot of pressure on her, and her first reaction was that she couldn't beat him. 3 years ago, she didn't have this feeling, but now, how much has this kid grown? After the shock, the idea of building a good relationship with Chen Tian became stronger. Little Shan, welcome to my village. Have you missed me? Terumi Mei smiled sweetly, and revealed a stunning smile. Damn, with my charm, can't I take down a little brat like you? He smiled helplessly. This woman really hasn't changed at all. Stop. If you have something to say, just say it. If not, I'm going to go back to sleep. I've been traveling all day. Seeing that Chenshin was not joking, Terumi Mei also became formal. You can see that there is no cage level strongman in the Mist Shadow office except me, and even there are very few Jonins. After taking a quick look at Chenshin's face, Terumi Mei continued, so if we want to get the three tails back, you can make requests, as long as I can do it. Impossible. Chenshin didn't even think about it. The three tails were stuffed into the bodies of Konoha ninjas by your own people. Why should we give it to you? And if the three tails is given to you, what about the current Jinchuriki? You know that the Jinchuriki will die after the tail beast is extracted, right? Seeing that Terumi Mei was still unwilling to give up, Chenshin immediately added, the current three tails Jinchuriki is the disciple of the Hokage. Do you still want the three tails? Hearing this, Terumi Mei's face suddenly changed and became much uglier. The three tails Jinchuriki is the disciple of the Hokage. If she wants the three tails, she will definitely go to war with Konoha, but the Mist Shadow cannot afford this price. Did Konoha do this on purpose, just to refuse to return the three tails? As soon as this thought came to Terumi's mind, Chenshin saw it. You think too much. That girl was Minato's disciple, before he became Hokage. I rescued her by myself. Chenshin's words almost choked Terumi to death. Her silver teeth creaked, and she wanted to pull Yagura out and kill him again. Isn't this stupid? Capturing the disciple of the Hokage of Konoha and sealing her own tail beast in it. You can't do this, even if you are brainless. But she was powerless and could only sigh and give up the idea of taking back the three tails. But at this moment, Chenshin said, in fact, it's not that we can't return the three tails to you, but we have to wait until the Jinchuriki dies of old age. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89 Lost 100 Million. Little Shienshin, are you teasing me? That Jinchuriki is much younger than me, right? Although it was a question, Terumi's tone was very sure. How old is Minato's disciple Kakashi? That little girl should be about the same age. Then there's nothing we can do. Shrugging his shoulders, Chen Tian said nonchalantly. Unwilling to give up, Terumi bit her red lips and said, since the three tails can't be brought back, don't you Konoha plan to compensate us? Chen Tian wanted to refuse outright. After all, Konoha was right no matter what, but thinking about the situation later, he showed a sly smile. Okay, within 10 years, as long as you don't take the initiative to cause trouble, Konoha will guarantee the safety of the Mist Shadow level. How about it? Anyway, there will be absolutely no problems within 10 years, and there are still 13 years before the fourth war. In this case, why not agree to Terumi and keep the three tails in Konoha forever? Okay, it's a deal. Terumi's sweet smile made Chen Tian a little dazed. After coming to his senses, he shook his head awkwardly and said, since there is nothing to do, I will go back and rest first. Then, he hurriedly left here and returned to his place. Seeing Chenshin's somewhat embarrassed appearance, Terumi Mei smiled and murmured, little guy, how can my beauty not fascinate you, a little kid? I don't know what Terumi Mei will feel when she finds out later that other villagers are too lazy to look at the Mist Shadow level until the 10-year deadline has passed. After Chenshin left, King took out a document and handed it to Chenshin, and then he left. The document contains the details of this Chunin exam, so that the contestants can understand it first. For this Chunin exam, the Mist Shadow level invited the other 4 major countries, but only Konoha came. Among the remaining 3, the Rock Shadow level and the Sand Shadow level are still busy with the affairs of the tailed beasts, and the Cloud Shadow level is unwilling to come. In this way, except for some small villages, there is only this small team of Konoha. The Chunin exam is divided into 3 rounds. The first written test tests some basic knowledge and eliminates some ninjas who know nothing. The second round is a killing test, which evolved from the power of Blood Mist. Ninjas are required to enter the trial field to kill wild beasts and find special items, and finally rank according to points. The third chapter is a personal battle, that is, a show match, in order to attract more ninjutsu. After reading a general content, Chen Tian was too lazy to continue reading. Every joint Chunin exam is similar, just a change of soup, but not the medicine, nothing special. I'm the leading ninja, responsible for protecting the safety of those little guys, and leave this matter to them to understand. This is definitely not, because Chen Tian is lazy. He wants to train the little guy's abilities. After returning to the hotel, he threw these materials to the three little guys. This is the information for this Chunin exam. You study it yourself. I only have one request. Don't embarrass Konoha. Then, Chen Tian went back to his room and slept soundly. After a day's journey, he was also a little tired. The next morning, the Chunin exam began. Before Chen Tian got up, the three little guys left on their own. After waking up, Chen Tian was not in a hurry. It was just a written test. Could there be any problems? If there is a problem, the mist shadow might as well disappear. After breakfast, Chen Tian left the hotel leisurely and wandered around the mist shadow. Speaking of which, he had been to the cloud shadow, rock shadow, and even saw the sand shadow from a distance, but this was his first time to the mist shadow. Looking around, Chen Tian had only one thought about the mist shadow, that is, it was backward. It was even more backward than the Konoha he just crossed over to. It was simply unbearable to look at. However, as he walked, he saw King with a child from a distance. The child looked about 5 or 6 years old, with a red dot on his forehead. Looking at this child, Chen Tian always felt familiar, but he couldn't recognize who he was. Chen Tian didn't plan to think about it anymore. Seeing that Itachi and the others should be back, he turned around and walked back. Damn it. Halfway through, Chen Tian slapped his forehead. Isn't that child Kimimaro? Thinking about it carefully, it was right. Without Orochimaru's deception, it was reasonable for Meitarumi to find Kimimaro. After reorganizing the mist shadow, suddenly Chen Tian felt that he had lost 100 million. How many talents had he wasted for that fart in Konoha? If he had remembered it earlier, he could have at least obtained 1 Haku and 1 Kimimaro by going around the mist shadow level. These two people are no worse than the future 12 little strongmen. If they are trained well, they will definitely be to cage level strongmen. But it's too late now. But it doesn't matter, if you think about it. Haku should have run away with Zabuza now, and he can't cure Kimimaro's disease. In this way, it seems that he has no loss. When Chen Tian returned to the hotel, Itachi and others had indeed returned. After seeing Chen Tian, they ran over and said, "Master Chen Tian, we have all passed the first exam." After talking for a while, they went back to their rooms and waited for the second exam to start the next day. In order to motivate the three little guys, Chen Tian promised them that, as long as they successfully became Chunin, he would teach them a ninjutsu. This made the three little guys very happy. Countless people in Konoha wanted to get Chen Tian's guidance, but had no way. But the three of them got this opportunity. Suddenly, the fire in the hearts of the three people burned fiercely, and they wished that the examination would start immediately. In the blink of an eye, it was already the second day. After sending the three little guys to the examination room, Chen Tian secretly observed them. This examination was different from the previous ones. It was possible. No, it should be said that there would definitely be deaths, so he had to watch them. In case any problem occurred with the three little guys, he could rescue them in time. Although he had enough confidence in Itachi, he was afraid of the unexpected. Who knew if there would be an accident? But until Chen Tian fell asleep, the three little guys were still killing gods and buddhas, and there was no opponent at all. For Chen Tian's promise, the three people almost became robots and didn't know how to rest. After making sure that they would not have any accidents, Chen Tian returned to the hotel in a hurry. The second examination would take 5 days, and he didn't want to wait there stupidly for 5 days. Meitarumi was very concerned about Chen Tian's movements, and Chen Tian had been sending people to secretly observe him. This was also tacitly agreed by Chen Tian. After all, who would dare to rest assured if such a powerful person came to their territory without keeping an eye on him? After knowing that Chen Tian had returned, Terumi Mei also felt relieved. She had long ago ordered her ninjas not to embarrass the Konoha ninjas. But who doesn't have accidents? If Chen Tian got angry, it would be a question whether the Mist Shadow Village could continue to exist. Chapter 90. The Fog Shadow matter is over. But Chen Tian thought of Uchiha Madara's lair. If he remembered correctly, it was not far from the Kirigakage village. Anyway, those three little brats will take 4 or 5 days to come out. Why don't I go look for them first? Stroking his chin, Chen Tian was a little moved. It was not to discover any secrets, but pure curiosity. Do you want to dance too? This sentence made his scalp numb, and he felt that Madara was too domineering. With me in this life, he probably didn't have much chance to pretend like this, so he could only go to commemorate it in advance. Do it if you want to. Let King and Meitarumi say hello, and Chen Tian left the Kirigakage village alone. Soon he came to the place where Heron Rin appeared at the beginning, looked at the land under his feet, and murmured, that thing should still be there? If it wasn't there, Obito wouldn't have to die. After a few ups and downs, Chen Tian found the place where he hid the things at the beginning, and lifted the soil on the surface. Sure enough, he saw a detonating talisman. The words he left on the detonating talisman were still there, but it was a pity that it didn't have any effect. Obito, you died because of your own stupidity. After destroying the detonating tag, Chen Tian looked around. He didn't regret killing Obito at all. Even if it happened again, he would kill him without hesitation. In the original work, although there were reasons, it was okay for Obito to kill Rin because she died at the hands of Kakashi. But Minato had always taught him and taken care of him, but he was so cruel that he attacked Minato and Kushina. This was his problem. For such a person, Chen Tian thought it was best to kill him, otherwise who knows if this brainless thing will stab you in the back. Before calming down, with the memory of Rin and the powerful perception ability, Chen Tian slowly found the direction. It should not be far away, otherwise Madara and Kuro will never be able to control the time of Obito's arrival and the time of Rin's death. If Kakashi wants to kill Rin with his own hands, Obito must witness it with his own eyes. There are many variables in the middle. If you want to ensure the success of a plan, the distance cannot be too far. Putting himself into the perspective of Uchiha Madara, Chen Tian speculated the location of Madara's lair bit by bit. Found it. After an unknown amount of time, Chen Tian's eyes suddenly lit up, and he stared at a direction. Then he rushed away and soon reached his destination. It should be right below here. Confirming his thoughts, he raised his right hand, then let's hit it. Boom. Chen Tian's punch landed, and the ground shook instantly. The ground below was broken into pieces, and a large circular hole more than 2 meters wide appeared. Looking at the dark hole, Chen Tian's face flashed a beautiful smile, and he jumped in. After 3 or 5 seconds, Chen Tian landed on the ground with a thud, but the surroundings were still dark and nothing could be seen. Wood style, wooden stick technique. Fire style, rock burning technique. In Chen Tian's empty hand, a wooden stick slightly thinner than his arm slowly grew out and burned with a whoosh. As soon as the torch appeared, it illuminated the surrounding space, and Chen Tian could see the surrounding situation clearly. There was a thick layer of dust on the ground, and it looked like no one had been here for a long time. In the center of the cave was a wooden chair, which looked a bit worn out. Behind the wooden chair was an irregular large pit, as if some creature had lived there. As for other places, they were empty, with nothing in them, and were obviously cleaned up by someone. This should be the place where the outer path demon statue is stored, right? Holding the wooden chair, Chen Tian carefully looked at the hole behind the wooden chair. The hole was 70 or 80 meters high and more than 30 meters wide, with irregular cracks around it, which looked very similar to the outer path demon statue in his impression. After a walk around, Chen Tian left here without finding anything, and returned to Wuang village to continue his leisure time. But not long after he left, the space in this old nest began to distort, and a man wearing a red-bottomed black cloud robe and a spiral mask walked out of it. Seeing the broken ground and the footprints below, Uchiha Shin's face suddenly changed. After Obito's death, he was a substitute trained by Black Zetsu himself, and he also lived here for a while. But now this place has been discovered? Is it a coincidence, or has someone discovered it? Uchiha Shin was not sure about this question, but with the idea of killing someone by mistake, rather than by mistake, he went to Black Zetsu to inquire about the news. No matter who this person is, no matter how this person came, he must be killed. Before leaving, Uchiha Shin burned the entire cave with a fire and left. After returning to the Kirigakure village, Chen Tian said hello to Terumi and collapsed in the hotel and became a salted fish again. 10 days passed in a flash, and Uchiha Itachi and the other 3 little brats all obtained the status of chunin. In the second assessment, the 3-person team won the first place together, and the points were twice as much as the second place. In the last individual competition, Itachi won the first place as expected, and Hyuga Ryu also won the second place. Only the little girl Uchiha Raizumi was not strong enough, and got a score outside the top 10. But for Chenshin's sake, Terumi Mei still gave a Chunin quota. Anyway, for them, this thing is just a sentence, and it is not important at all. Chenshin is still a genin of Konoha, but how many people in the ninja world dare to really treat him as a genin? No one, even the hot-tempered and stubborn Reikage, dare not underestimate Chenshin like this. The Chunin exam is over, and it's time for us to leave. Goodbye. After chatting with Mei Terumi for a few words, Chenshin left with the 3 little brats. After being far away from the Kirigakage village, he repeated the same trick, and spent a day to return to Konoha. This time there was no accident, and no one met. Everything went smoothly. Brother Minato, I brought these 3 kids back to you safely. You can ask them if you have any questions. Pushing open the door of the Hokage's office, Chenshin carelessly pushed the 3 children in. He didn't even enter the door, just gave a loud explanation, and returned to his home in a flash. He had already handed over the general policy of Konoha to Minato, and he didn't want to take care of the rest of the trivial matters. It was troublesome. Watching Chenshin slip away with a smile, Minato just shook his head but said nothing. Chenshin's contribution to Konoha is already enough. No one can compare to him except the first Hokage Senju Hashirama. Everyone in Konoha knows this very well. Otherwise, if you replace a ninja with someone who doesn't even perform a mission, I would have broken your legs and thrown you out of Konoha. Uchiha Itachi was fine, but the funny Hyuga Ryu's eyes lit up, and he was in awe of Chenshin. Chapter 91 finally begins. After returning to his small house, Chenshin once again resumed his leisurely farming life. After reaching the peak of Kage level, he always felt a vague gaze. Apart from the 6-path sage, Chenshin could not think of anyone else who had such ability. So he could only stay here safely, to prevent the 6-path sage from making a desperate move. More than 8 years passed in the blink of an eye. Now Chenshin is 19 years old, and has perfectly transformed into a handsome young man. In these 8 years, because Chenshin can keep a low profile, he has become a legend among the villagers of Konoha. He lives alone in the back mountain of Konoha. Apart from Kakashi and my guy, only Kunoha Yuhi would come here occasionally. Oh, by the way, Kushina also brought Naruto here once, saying that he wanted him to recognize the door. Apart from that, Chenshin did not step out of the back mountain. Last year, Might Guy came to Chenshin happily, and told him that he was the leader of the team. Among the 3 disciples he led, one of them perfectly inherited his mantle. Today is the graduation day for 9 of the 12 little warriors of Konoha. All of them graduated at the age of 12. Without the interference of the Ninetales chakra, Naruto defeated Uchiha Sasuke and won the first place. Although Uchiha Sasuke was dissatisfied, he did not have any emotions because he had not experienced the pain of genocide. Because of the relationship between Indra and Ashura chakra, the two still became a pair of gay friends. I don't know if it is the inertia of history. Although Minato is a Hokage, the class division situation has not changed. At night, Kakashi, Yuhi Kunoha and Might Guy all came to Chenshin. Might Guy carried a few bottles of wine, and Kakashi carried some food, and they just swaggered in. Is there any happy event today? Why are you 3 here together? Looking at the appearance of the 3 people, Chenshin was a little puzzled. According to the previous rules, only when there are festivals or happy events will people come together. Kakashi and Might Guy are both orphans, and it's meaningless to celebrate the festival alone, so they are with Chenshin. Kunoha's father, Shinkiro, is still alive, but Kunoha still always comes here. Perhaps it's because of what happened on Death Mountain that the relationship between the few people has improved. Hahaha, today Kakashi and Kunoha both became team leading jonins. Let's come here to celebrate. K laughed, and it can be seen that he was in a good mood. Looking at the masked Kakashi and Kunoha with a smile on his face, Chenshin had the answer in his heart. Chenshin and Kakashi Might K were toasting each other, and they were so happy. Kunoha sat quietly beside Chenshin, and poured him a glass of wine with a smile on her face. Kakashi, seeing that they were almost done drinking, Chen patted Kakashi on the shoulder and asked, when will you and Lin get married? You have been dating for more than 10 years, right? The moment he knew that Kakashi and Kurenoi became team leading jonins, Chen knew that the plot was about to begin. Kakashi and Kei were both his good friends. He didn't want these two people to wander around the world like in the original book, so he kept urging Kakashi. If Kei, the watermelon-headed guy, didn't have a girl he liked, he probably wouldn't have been able to escape Chen's urging. It's almost time. Kakashi was used to Chen's urging. Lin and I have already discussed that we will get married next year. Even Kakashi showed a happy smile at this time. Kurenoi looked at Kakashi with nothing but envy in her eyes and glanced at Chen with resentment. She cursed Chen in her heart for being a blockhead, and he hadn't figured out her thoughts for so many years. Yes, after the Death God Mountain, Kurenoi had a crush on Chen, but Chen didn't notice it yet. Kakashi and Might Guy smiled at each other and ignored Kurenoi's little emotion, as if nothing had happened. It wasn't until the middle of the night that the three of them left, ending this small gathering. Is it finally going to start? I've been waiting for too long. Looking at the backs of the three people going away, Chen's eyes were deep and distant. 9 years. He waited for 9 years for the plot to begin, and he almost forgot his original plan. Then he took a shower and went to bed. There was still some time left. It would be almost over. A month passed quickly, and Kakashi Yuhi Kurenoi and his team were almost in sync. Chen received the news that Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura's Team 7 received the first sea-level mission, the bridge repair mission in Wave Country. After so many years, Chen had almost forgotten the original work and only remembered a few important things. He frowned and tried to recall for a long time before he remembered that this mission seemed to be about meeting Zabuza and Haku, and it was the first time that Naruto and Sasuke were in danger. After thinking about it, he decided to go with them secretly to prevent any unexpected changes. He didn't dare to think about what would happen to Kushina and Minato if something happened to Naruto. The next morning, Chen staggered to the gate of Konoha, where Kakashi's team was gathering. Hey, why did you leave your little territory? Kakashi asked in surprise. I haven't seen this guy out for so many years. It's really rare to see him. It's okay. He waved his hand. I've been here for a long time and want to move around. Let's go for a walk. Okay. Kakashi was not surprised that Chen knew his mission. In Konoha, Chen could know anything he wanted to know. Hello, Uncle Chen. Naruto greeted Chen a little stiffly. He had only met this uncle once and was a little scared. Especially after learning about his uncle's past from his mother, he was even more shocked. Sasuke and Sakura were stunned by Naruto's reaction. How could this guy who was fearless have such a day? Who is this person named Duomen? Why have they never heard of him? Unfortunately, Kakashi and Chen didn't tell them. After saying hello to Naruto, the group set off. Dazuna wanted to say something, but when he saw Chen's eyes, he suddenly became a quail and followed him obediently. But he was very worried, afraid that Chen would know that he lied about the mission level. Otherwise, he was afraid. That look was too scary. It was like seeing hell, as if he could die at any time. But he was also a little happy. Since this person was so powerful, he would be more confident in dealing with Kado. In this way, Chen and Kakashi chatted, and the group walked forward silently. But Chen was still thinking in his heart, should he kill Zabuza? With Zabuza's strength, he should be able to explode a card, right? Chapter 92 Chen past. After walking for an hour, Sakura couldn't help her curiosity and sneaked to Naruto and asked, Naruto, who is that man, and why are you so afraid of him? Sasuke also pricked up his ears curiously, wanting to hear about Chen. Because he always felt that Chen looked familiar, but he couldn't remember where he had seen him. That's my uncle, but I've only met him once. But my parents said that my uncle is very strong and no one knows how strong he is. Kakashi and Chen also heard what the three little ones said, but they just smiled and ignored them. Sasuke at the back couldn't help it and asked, what's your uncle's name? Why have I never seen him? My uncle is called Chen. He has been living in the back mountain of Konoha and seems to have rarely left the house. Chen, Sasuke exclaimed. The enlightenment teaching of the Uchiha was written by Chen, and his name is still there. Sasuke, you also know that I haven't heard of it? Sakura was confused. Have I withdrawn from the era? Shaking his head, Sasuke said, I don't know if it is true or not. Anyway, the clan rules of the Uchiha were written by a man named Chen Tian. While speaking, he secretly glanced at Chen Tian. Naruto, keep talking, what else do you know? Interrupting Sakura's fandom, Sasuke asked in a deep voice. Oh, it is said that my uncle entered school at the age of 5 and graduated at the age of 6. At the age of 7, he took the Chunin exam and beat everyone. No one passed except him. But he said that Konoha's genin was the strongest, so he refused to be promoted to Chunin, and he is still a genin now. Swallowing his saliva, Naruto fell into memories. My parents said that my uncle killed many jonin at the age of 7, and he was no weaker than them at the age of 8. And he took them to the Cloud Shadow Village, beat everyone in the Cloud Shadow Village, and came to Konoha to apologize. At the first ninja tournament, he was one of the top 16, but because of a little thing, the tournament did not continue. Otherwise my uncle would definitely be the first. After that, he lived alone, and did not show up so much. As he spoke, Naruto himself revealed a look of shock, as if he was not scared enough, and continued. They also said that the reason why Konoha was so prosperous was entirely because of the advice given to them by their uncle. Anyway, it was not like this now. Smacking his lips, Naruto stopped with a sense of unfulfilled desire, and looked at Sasuke with gloating. When he first learned the news, he was so shocked that he couldn't close his mouth. Now it was Sasuke's turn. Impossible. X2 as Naruto expected, Sasuke and Sakura were furious, shaking their heads like rattles. This is impossible. How could an 8-year-old do such a thing? And if he really did it, why have I never heard of it? Sasuke didn't believe Naruto's words at all, and thought that Naruto was making it up. Impossible. I don't believe it. Seeing the two of them already butting heads, Sakura stood by at a loss, not knowing what to do. Naruto's father is the Hokage. Would he make such a joke? But if it was true, it would be too unbelievable. When Naruto began to narrate, Kakashi in front of him had already fallen into memories. It was not until the quarrel between Naruto and Sasuke interrupted him that he said leisurely, what Naruto said is true, and it's only part of it. After that, regardless of the reactions of the three little ones, he quickly caught up with Chen Tian in front. When Sasuke and Sakura heard what Kakashi said, they opened their mouths wide and looked at Chen Tian in front of them in horror. Ignoring the various looks of the three little ones, they walked out of the woods, and seeing the small puddle in front of them, Kakashi and Chen Tian looked at each other. Bang! Next, two extremely ugly ninjas rushed out of the small puddle and cut Chen Tian and Kakashi in two. Uncle! Teacher Kakashi! With a cry of surprise, Naruto and Sasuke rushed forward immediately, and Sakura guarded Tazuna. Kakashi and Chen Tian were watching the performance of the three little ones from a tree not far away, and they were dissatisfied with it. In such dry weather, with such a large puddle of water on the ground, no one noticed anything wrong. I don't know what to say. If it weren't for training these three, Chen Tian would have stepped on the Ghost Brothers to death, although they would not explode the cards. After Naruto and Sasuke defeated the Ghost Brothers, Kakashi and Chen Tian reappeared. Kill them, one each. Glancing at the Ghost Brothers, Chen Tian said in a low voice. Sasuke hesitated for a moment, but still gritted his teeth, and stabbed the shuriken. Naruto couldn't do it. He hesitated, and even the hand holding the shuriken began to tremble. Looking at Naruto's performance, Chen Tian's eyes became colder and gloomy, and the people who saw it felt cold all over. Unable to withstand Chen Tian's eyes, Naruto came to the Ghost Brothers tremblingly, closed his eyes, and stabbed them fiercely. After the people died, Naruto immediately lay on the side and vomited heartbreakingly. Seeing this, Chen Tian turned around and left, leaving the rest of the things to Kakashi to deal with. He was too lazy to talk to Dazna. After Kakashi and the three little ones expressed their opinions, the mission continued. Because of Dazna's speed, the progress of the group was slow. It took them 5 days to reach the edge of the Land of Fire, and in front of them was the sea surrounding the Land of Waves. Too lazy to wait for Dazna to row the boat, Chen Tian summoned a wooden board for a while, and floated it slowly. Kakashi had noticed Chen Tian's movements long ago, and he went over with the plank, leaving only the three little ones and Tazuna to row slowly. Why is that? Naruto, row quickly, we'll catch up. Sakura kept urging Naruto, very dissatisfied with Chenshin and Kakashi's operation without them. What about Sasuke? Sasuke is rowing too. Hearing the voice behind, Chenshin was speechless about Sakura. Even though Naruto was the son of the Hokage, it could not change his partiality for Sasuke. However, because of Naruto's identity, although Sakura was partial, she did not dare to offend Naruto. If she really favored Naruto and ignored Sasuke like in the original book, Chenshin suggested giving her a profound lesson. Let her know that not every child can be ordered around like a dog. Fortunately, Naruto in this life has never lacked friends since he was a child, and he has never taken a fancy to Sakura, so he will not run away to be a dog. After a while, all the people went ashore. The moment they went ashore, Chenshin noticed two people hiding in the woods. He just took a silent look and did not say much. If you want to use Naruto and Sasuke to explode the cards, you still have to make these two stronger quickly. This opportunity is just right for training them. Chapter 93, First Encounter with Zabuza. After all the people got ashore, a big knife whirled and came straight to everyone's neck. Get out of the way. Kakashi discovered it in time and shouted. Naruto and Sasuke fell down one by one after hearing it. The next moment, the big knife was inserted into the ground halfway, and Zabuza Momochi stood on it with one foot. Looking at Zabuza's pretentious appearance, Chenshin narrowed his eyes and sighed in his heart that Zabuza was lucky this knife happened to pass him, otherwise Zabuza would be dead now. I didn't expect it to be you. Konoha's new white fang. Take Kakashi. Mist Shadow Demon. Zabuza Momochi. Kakashi stood in front of the three little ones, looking quite relaxed. Not to mention that there was Chenshin's big killer. Even he could beat Zabuza himself. After listening to Chenshin's advice, he gave up continuing to develop the blood red eyes and practiced swordsmanship wholeheartedly. Now he is already an out-and-out cage level strongman, perfectly inheriting his father's mantle. My target is the old man behind you. How about handing him over to me? Pointing at Tazuna, Zabuza stared at Kakashi. He had heard of Kakashi's name many times, and he was a little nervous, wondering if he could beat him. Gripping the white fang short sword behind him, Kakashi narrowed his eyes. He is my mission protector. I can't hand him over to you. Behind Kakashi, Sasuke, Naruto and the other two looked at Zabuza curiously and kept glancing at Chenshin with questioning eyes. That man is Momochi Zabuza, a rebel ninja from the Mist Shadow village. He defected after failing to assassinate the Mist Shadow. When he graduated, he killed the other 99 companions who took the exam at the same time and won the title of Mist Shadow Demon. His strength is probably at the elite Jonin, barely considered a figure. After a general explanation, Chenshin watched the fight between the two with little interest. Zabuza has a big reputation, but Kakashi is not bad either, and his strength is much stronger than him. So after the battle began, no matter how Zabuza used his ninjutsu, all of them were cut off by Kakashi's sword. He had no choice but to hold the beheading sword and confront Kakashi head on. With a crack, the beheading sword broke into two pieces under the broken blade of White Fang in Kakashi's hand. After splitting the beheading sword, White Fang's short sword chopped towards Zabuza's neck without any pause. In a hurry, Zabuza leaned back slightly, allowing the sword to chop his chest. A handful of blood spurted out and splashed on the grass. Zabuza fell down and lost his breath. Swish. Just as Kakashi was preparing to check, a petite figure suddenly appeared, wearing a set of Anbu clothes. Seeing this person appear, Chenshin's eyes suddenly lit up, and he looked at it seriously. He was really curious about Bei's gender, but the other party was wrapped in Anbu clothes, so he couldn't see anything. Who are you? Seeing someone appear, Kakashi immediately became alert and clenched the White Fang broken blade in his hand again. Bei stopped and said stiffly, I'm the Anbu of the Mist Shadow level who is hunting down the rebellious ninja Momochi Zabuza. Thank you for killing Zabuza. Now I want to take Zabuza's body back to regain my sight. After saying this, Bei's eyes were fixed on Kakashi, but his body was still approaching Zabuza. Chenshin did not interfere and watched Kakashi hand Zabuza to Bei, including the beheading sword. After a while, the group arrived at Dazna's house. The story was similar to the original. Too lazy to watch a few children fooling around, Chenshin and Kakashi went outside and sat down. I don't believe you didn't see that the man was not a mist shadow and boo. What on earth were you thinking? Chenshin looked at Kakashi in confusion. Unlike reading the original, after staying here for a long time, he could tell what the Anbu looked like at a glance. It was impossible for an ordinary person to hide the fact that he was dressed as an Anbu from Kakashi, who was the former Anbu chief. Ha. Kakashi exhaled with an expression that was as expected. You really found it out. Although Momochi's abuser was a traitor, he was no longer one after the 5th Mizukage took office, but he didn't know it himself. When the 5th Mizukage came to Konoha, he specifically begged his master not to attack his abuser and to spare his life when he met him. Although Chenshin was not satisfied with Kakashi's explanation, he reluctantly accepted it. What he really wanted to know was why Kakashi let his abuser go in the original work. This was definitely not the reason in the original work, but now no one knew why. However, Chenshin had some guesses. Kakashi was known for lacking blue ninjas, and if he got entangled with his abuser, he would have been exhausted. If they really fought, he might not be a match for Baion's abuser, let alone protecting the 3 little ones. So he just pretended not to know, and let Bai leave with his abuser. This can be seen from the fact that Kakashi lay down for a few days after arriving at Dazna's house. After finding a reasonable answer, Chenshin put aside his curiosity. Dazna said it will take another 7 days to repair the bridge. You guys stay with him. I'll go out for a walk. After that, Chenshin left leisurely. It was enough to have Kakashi here. His target this time was Zabuza and Haku. They had no chance to attack Kakashi. It was embarrassing to say that I had tricked Meditarumi into taking care of the Kirigami village for 10 years, but it had been calm for 10 years and nothing had happened. Now 10 years have passed, and the agreement has been invalidated. I have to do something for her, otherwise it will be difficult to meet next time. Looking at the civilians chewing grass roots on both sides of the street, Chenshin was calm in his heart. He had long been accustomed to this kind of thing. In addition to the Land of Fire, there are many such situations, even worse than here. These civilians tried their best to live in the Land of Fire, but they were intercepted by these countries. Shaking his head, he asked someone where Kado lived, but the man screamed when he heard the word Kado and turned around to escape. He grabbed the man and took out 100 taels of silver notes. As long as you tell me where Kado lives, this is yours. Gilu swallowed hard, and the little girl asked cautiously, really? Really? The silver note was handed to the little girl in advance, and looking at the skinny appearance, I felt a little pity in my heart. Kado doesn't live here, he lives on the other side, and the only luxurious house over there is his, and no one dares to go there. Pointing in a direction, the little girl said everything like pouring beans, holding the silver note tightly in her hand. Chapter 94, Scared. Although the face value of this silver note is not large, it can keep her alive, and not starve to death. Thank you. After saying that, Chen Tian left without looking back, and went to Kado's residence. It's not that he didn't want to give the little girl more money, but if he gave her too much, the little girl might not even survive today. Money can move people's hearts. Wait for 7 days. As long as Dazna repairs the bridge in 7 days, these people will flock to the Land of Fire, and then life will be better. Anyway, there is no such thing as a daimyo in the Land of Waves, and no one will stop them. In this way, in less than 10 minutes, Chen Tian arrived in front of Kado's residence. The little girl was right. There was only this house on this side of the island, and no one else lived there. Who are you? Get out of here quickly. This is the residence of Lord Kado. At the gate, the 2 warriors guarding the gate looked arrogant and pointed at Chen Tian's nose. Ah. The next moment, the knife flashed, and the 2 warriors covered their necks tightly to prevent blood from flowing out. But all this was in vain. Blood continued to flow out from between their fingers, taking away their vitality. Chen Tian didn't even look at them. He raised his leg and stepped over the 2 warriors and walked inside. None of these people who work for Kado are good people, so they can be killed. Having a good temper doesn't mean Chen Tian has no temper, and he lets these people boss him around. Who dares to kill Lord Kado's people? Kill him. Ha ha ha. Finally I can see blood again. It's been a long time since I saw him. This pretty boy has delicate skin and tender flesh, not weak. Let me have some fun first, and then you can kill him. As soon as Chen Tian entered the yard, a large number of warriors in different costumes rushed out and surrounded Chen Tian. A group of people swore and laughed, not taking Chen Tian seriously at all. Sentencing these people to death in his heart, Chen Tian asked calmly, "Where is Kado?" Ha ha ha, what's wrong with this kid? He doesn't know his fate yet. Boy, you still want to see Lord Kado? Are you still asleep? Ha ha ha. Don't talk nonsense with him. I can't help but have some fun first. The voices of these people startled Kado in the house. He walked out swaggeringly and asked, "What's going on?" Seeing Kado appear, this group of people were as obedient as dogs and surrounded him to explain. In just 1 minute, Kado knew the whole story and looked at Chen Tian with interest. "What do you want to do with me? Tell me clearly and I will give you a quick death." "No, I still want to have some fun, Lord Kado. Please let me do it, Lord. I haven't killed anyone for a long time. Say what you want to say quickly, otherwise you won't have time to say it." The atmosphere between these people became more heated, and they looked at Chen Tian as if they were looking at a toy. For so many years, they have never seen anyone dare to come here to find Kado, because they are afraid of being killed by Kado. Now that there is such a fool coming to the door, it is so interesting. Zabuza, who was healing, heard the noisy sound outside and frowned. "Bay, what's going on outside?" "Lord Zabuza, I don't know. I'll go and see now," Bay said, and was about to go out. Zabuza waved his hand. "Let's go and see together." Then he endured the pain in his chest, stood up and walked out. When Zabuza and Bay appeared, the yard suddenly became silent, and everyone shut up. They are different from Zabuza. Zabuza is a rebel ninja and an elite jonin. And they are just some stronger ordinary people, and samurai are just their own bragging. If Zabuza is really angry, I'm afraid that no one here will survive. "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" the kind Bay asked first. "I want to give the person below a chance to leave, so that he doesn't have to die here." Although Kado was unhappy, he didn't dare to say anything more after he scolded Zabuza and was taught a lesson by Zabuza. When the beheading sword was placed on his neck, he knew that he had nothing but money. If he really angered these rebels, they would probably kill people for money. "You finally came out. I've been waiting for you for a long time." After moving his wrist, Chen Tian said nonchalantly, "I'm a Konoha ninja, named Chen Tian." Chen Tian. Konoha demon. Hearing the word Chen Tian, Zabuza's legs suddenly softened. If Bay hadn't supported him, he would have fallen to the ground. "Are you really a Konoha demon?" The voice was a little horrified, and Zabuza's face turned pale. Nodding, Chen Tian said, "If you haven't seen other Chen Tians, then that's me." After hearing Chen Tian's words in person, Zabuza completely gave up and looked at Hen. There was Chen Tian in his notes, and the first one was Chen Tian, who must not be provoked. There was also a photo on it, but Chen Tian had grown up so much that he was no longer the same as when he was a child. So Zabuza didn't recognize him before. He just felt that he looked familiar. "Master Zabuza, who is he?" Bay asked after noticing Zabuza's abnormality. The Avildo Chen Tian of Konoha drove away the S-level rebel Angle when he was 6 years old and led people to attack the Cloud Shadow village when he was 8 years old and killed a cage-level strongman alone. Later, he was on par with the cage of the 5 major ninja villages. After so many years, no one knows how powerful he is now. But the consensus of the ninja world is that he can kill any of the 5 cages. As he spoke, Zabuza became more terrified, but he didn't think of any way to escape. Plop, plop. The sound of falling down continued, and the warriors who mocked Chen Tian also heard what Zabuza said. They didn't know about the others, but no one didn't understand that he could kill the 5 cages. They actually dared to speak rudely to such a person before. Thinking of this, water stains appeared between their legs. Looking at Chen Tian with lifeless eyes, they knelt on the ground like crazy and kowtowed to Chen Tian continuously. "I deserve to die. I deserve to die. Please spare my life. I'm blind and have offended you. You treat me like a piece of shit. I will get out of here now." A few people suppressed their fear and sneaked towards the gate, trying to leave quietly. These people's actions were naturally seen by Zebu, who smiled disdainfully and said nothing. "You bastards still want to escape? Don't dream." Chapter 95 Linglong. Chen ignored these useless warriors, glanced at Zabuza and said, I have something to ask you. Clean up these garbage, and then come out to find me. After that, Chen walked out without looking back, and closed the door. He was not afraid that Zabuza would escape, and he believed that Zabuza did not have the courage to do so. Sir, what should we do? Should we escape? Seeing Chen leave, Bei mustered up the courage to ask. Zabuza smiled bitterly. There is no way to escape in front of him. Let's clean up these debris first. Maybe there is still a way to survive. The warriors below had already gone crazy, and they rushed to the gate desperately, trying to force their way out. Zabuza jumped into the crowd, gripped the beheading sword and started killing. Although he was injured, he was not someone these trash could mess with. Although Bei also took action, none of her men died, as they were all killed by Zabuza one by one. After killing these warriors, Zabuza came to Kado. Kado, it's your turn. You can't kill me. As long as you kill the previous man, I can give you a lot of money. Ha. With a sneer, Zabuza chopped down with a knife. Too lazy to say a word to this brainless thing. Then the two of them stepped over the mountains of corpses and seas of blood, pushed open the door, and walked towards the morning sky not far away. My lord, all the garbage has been cleaned up. I don't know what you want to see me about. Zabuza had never been so respectful in his life, but he did it very well at this moment. Now that Kado is dead, they will definitely not attack Dazuna again. There is still a great chance that Chen will let them go. After all, there is no hatred between the two sides. Don't be afraid, I'm just here to ask a question. Waving his hand, Chen asked Bei, are you a man or a woman? As soon as these words came out, Zabuza and Bei were stunned and looked at Chen in disbelief. You put on such a big show, just to ask such a question? If it weren't for being unable to beat Chen, Zabuza felt that he could not help but chop Chen on the head with a knife. For such a trivial matter, I was almost scared to death. It's unbearable. He immediately stood aside with a dark face, no longer looking at Chen's hateful appearance. After Bei came back to his senses, a blush appeared on his face. He glanced at Chen and said, I'm a man. TSK. He curled his lips in dissatisfaction, thinking that it was just as he expected. The old thief who created this world was too abominable. Then he said, I have finished asking questions. You can leave at any time. Hearing Chen's words, Zabuza's expression became even more interesting. He was almost scared to death because of such a thing. It was so embarrassing. Although he thought so, Zabuza didn't dare to say it out loud. He still stood there respectfully, waiting for Chen to leave first. After walking a few steps, Chen suddenly stopped and said to Zabuza in shock, now the Blood Mist Village in the Mist Shadow Village has ended, and you are not a rebel ninja anymore. That woman, Terumi Mei, has lifted the wanted order for you and asked Konoha not to take action against you. If you don't want to continue to be displaced, you should go back to the Mist Shadow Village. I can guarantee that that woman, Terumi Mei, will not take action against you. After saying that, Chen ignored Zabuza, whose expression changed rapidly, and left the place directly. His purpose was to find out whether Haku was a boy or a girl. If she was a girl, he could take her back to Konoha, but if she was a boy, it didn't matter. Since the goal was achieved, there was no need to stay here. Reminding Zabuza was also to thoroughly understand the matter of the three tails and give an explanation to Terumi. It didn't take long for Chen to return to the Tatsuna family and saw Kakashi teaching the three little ones to climb trees and tread water. Coming to Kakashi, Kakashi, I have already dealt with Zabuza's matter. You guys wait until the bridge is repaired before going back. I'll go first. Okay. Kakashi nodded and said, since everything is fine, you go back first. After bidding farewell to Kakashi and the three little ones, and promising them that he would teach them to practice once in the future, Chen went with a girl he had seen before. At that time, he did not expect that he would regret it so quickly, otherwise he would just take the girl with him. Judging from the girl's skinny appearance, Chen estimated that she would starve to death before she could reach the land of fire. Since he was going back now, he didn't mind taking the girl with him. After a while, Chen came to a shabby house, which was called a house, but in Chen's eyes was not even as good as a pavilion. Big brother, is that you? Why are you here? The little girl was delighted to see Chen Tian, but then she became alert. Over the years, many people have come to her place to steal things, and her house is now empty, without even a bench. Touching the little girl's head, Chen Tian said as gently as possible, "I'm a ninja from Konoha, and now I'm going back to Konoha. You helped me on the way before, and to thank you, I can take you to Konoha." The little girl hesitated for a moment, and then nodded her head excitedly, after seeing Chen Tian really take out a Konoha Genin forehead protector. She has never been to the land of fire, but she has heard that it is a paradise on earth, and no one will go hungry. Konoha is the best place in the fairyland, with all kinds of good things, and there are things to do every day, after eating and drinking. She dreamed of the scene of herself arriving in Konoha countless times in her dreams, but she was still in this small broken house when she woke up. After chatting, Chen Tian also knew the name of the little girl. Her name was Linglong, a nice name. Her father was killed by Kado when she was young, and her mother was also beaten to death because of the civilians who robbed her of food, leaving her alone to survive. Knowing the little girl's past, Chen Tian felt even more pity for her. He took out a lot of food from his portable space and gave it all to the little girl. After Linglong had eaten and drunk enough, he took her to take a bath and bought her some nice clothes. After putting on these clothes, Linglong suddenly looked like an exquisite porcelain doll, but she was a little too thin. In this way, Chen Tian took Linglong to travel around the mountains and rivers for more than 10 days before returning to Konoha. After getting along all the way, Linglong was no longer afraid of Chen Tian, but got along with him very happily. Standing at the gate of Konoha, little Linglong opened her mouth and was speechless for a long time. "Brother Chen Tian, is this Konoha? I have never seen such a prosperous place. How about you live here in the future and live with your brother?" Chen Tian touched Linglong's little head and acted very gently. "This child who is about the same age as Naruto, she lives worse than Naruto in the original book. At least Naruto couldn't starve to death. This kid almost starved to death countless times. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96, Naruto's Development Direction. After bringing Linglong back to Konoha, Chen Tian reported to Minato and took her back to his house. After 2 days of getting familiar with each other, Linglong got used to the new life, cleaning the room, washing clothes and cooking every day. Even Chen Tian couldn't stop her, and she was eager to do it. He had no choice but to let her do it. Seeing the little girl smile more and more, Chen Tian's heart became more cheerful. After living alone for so many years, he felt that his mentality was too old, almost like an old man. With this little guy, life has become more fun. 7 days passed like this, and the Kakashi team completed the bridge building mission and returned as a whole. After handing in the mission, the 3 little ones only rested for 1 day and left home early the next morning. Sasuke found Naruto. "Naruto, where does Chen Tian live? Let's go find him quickly." Last night, he asked his brother Uchiha Itachi about Chen Tian, and he also knew that this person was Itachi's idol. He was shocked by Itachi, since he was a child, and couldn't wait to find Chen Tian for advice. Sasuke had infinite expectations for the man who Itachi admired so much. "I'm just about to go find my uncle. You can come with me." "Are we going to find Sakura?" Naruto finally got a chance to be taught by Chen Tian. Kakashi, Minato, and Kushina all wanted him to go. Naruto himself also had a little expectation. Sasuke nodded and walked towards Sakura's house first. He cared about his teammates very much, even though he had no cruel experience. But after finding Sakura, Sakura refused their invitation and was unwilling to go to Chen Tian's place. Although she wanted to be with Sasuke, she had Naruto as a light bulb and had to train hard after arriving there. Sakura decisively backed out. Naruto and Sasuke did not force it. The two of them rushed to the back mountain of Konoha impatiently. After a while, they arrived outside Chen Tian's single family villa. "Why are you here?" Lying in the yard, drinking the tea brewed by Linglong, Chen Tian was happily basking in the sun. Sasuke and Naruto looked at each other, and finally it was Naruto who spoke. "Uncle, we are here to practice with you. You two little guys are diligent, and you still remember my promise." With a chuckle, Chen Tian understood why the two little guys came here. But when he saw that Sakura was not there, he was completely disappointed with Sakura. After experiencing the mission in the Land of Waves, she didn't even understand what she should do, and didn't understand the gap between her and Naruto and Sasuke. Not to mention the identity of the two little guys as saviors, Ashura and Riz Chakra, just Naruto's son of Hokage and Sasuke's identity as Uchiha Prince. The resources of the two of them are far from what Sakura can match, and the same is true for their talents. Naruto has the physique of the Uzumaki clan, and Sasuke has the Sharingan. What can Sakura compare with? In this case, Sakura still doesn't cherish this opportunity, which has doomed them to not be able to continue to cooperate in the future. Shaking his head to get rid of all these ideas, after saying hello to Zhao Linglong, Chen Tian took Naruto and Sasuke to the woods not far away. "Since I have to teach them to ninjutsu, it may cause damage at home, so it is better to stay away." After arriving at the place, Chen Tian asked, "Do you two have any plans for your future ninjutsu? Do you have any ninjutsu you particularly want to learn?" Naruto and Sasuke looked at each other, not knowing what Chen Tian was talking about. After a while, Naruto tried to say, "My ninjutsu is to become a better flame than my father. I want to make the glory of Uchiha even brighter." Sasuke was not to be outdone. "I knew it was like this." Chen Tian frowned and wailed helplessly in his heart. The ninjas in this world are wildly grown, and there is no systematic teaching. Learn the three-body technique in the ninja school, and learn whatever ninjutsu you see after graduation. In desperation, Chen Tian could only say in detail, "What kind of ninja do you want to be in the future? Is it a wizard type who uses ninjutsu crazily, or an assassin type who kills with one blow?" After a pause, Chen Tian thanked Might Guy's figure and said, "Or is it the kind of warrior type with thick skin and strong body?" This time the two little guys understood, and they all lowered their heads and began to think. No one had ever asked them this before. They just asked them to exercise, refine chakra, and give them the right ninjutsu. Watching the two little guys pondering, Chen Tian was not in a hurry and sat down slowly. He actually had a suitable development path for the two in his mind, but he still had to see what they chose first. Perhaps it was because Chen Tian was serious enough, or perhaps it was because their parents had been teaching them. The two little guys were much more sensible, and they did not make random choices, but looked at Chen Tian expectantly. "Well, since you have no idea, then I will give you a suggestion, but after you listen to this suggestion, you need to go back and discuss it with your parents." The two little guys nodded in succession after hearing this, and they looked forward to Chen Tian's suggestion even more. This is the suggestion of Konoha's well-deserved strongest man, the famous Konoha demon in the ninja world. As long as Chen Tian agrees to teach, they don't doubt that people who come to ask for advice can line up from here to the Land of Water. Let's talk about Naruto first. Naruto, you have the physique of the Uzumaki clan, and your chakra is very huge, almost comparable to the tailed beasts. In addition, you have inherited some of the talents of brother Minato, and your learning ability is very terrifying. Therefore, the most suitable development direction for you is the mage type, quickly learning a large number of ninjutsu, and the huge chakra can allow you to win by covering strikes. This is not nonsense from Chen Tian. There is no doubt about the chakra of the Uzumaki clan. The powerful learning ability can be seen from the fact that Naruto learned multiple shadow clones at a glance in the original work. Although he did not have the nine tails in this life, his chakra reserves were reduced a lot, but there was no interference from the nine tails chakra, so he could learn ninjutsu easily. Naruto, with his huge chakra, can completely overcome the disadvantages of not having the nine tails and simply enjoy the remaining advantages. Listening to Chen Tian's narration, Naruto gradually fell into fantasy, thinking of himself standing there and releasing ninjutsu infinitely, and the big enemy screaming, and a perverted smile unconsciously appeared on his little face. In fact, Chen Tian didn't say one more thing. When Naruto learns the Sage Mode in the future, the power of his ninjutsu will be greatly enhanced. Just look at the power of Chen Tian's ninjutsu and Naruto's future Sage Rasengan. After a while, Naruto finally woke up and nodded hurriedly. I understand, uncle. Chapter 97 Teaching Naruto and Sasuke. After talking about Naruto, Chenshin looked at Sasuke, who was full of expectation. Knowing that Chenshin was going to instruct him, Sasuke hurriedly straightened his chest and raised his head, making a serious expression. Sasuke, you are from the Uchiha clan, and the Sharingan is your biggest advantage, and you must try your best to develop it. The Sharingan has many functions, including illusion, copying, insight, etc. But in my opinion, the most important one is insight. With the Sharingan, you don't have to be afraid of illusions. You can rely on your powerful dynamic strength to fight in close combat, dodge the enemy's attack, and give a fatal blow. Therefore, the development direction of the assassin type is your best choice, and you can play perfectly until the cage level. When you open the Manjaki Sharingan, you will transform into a Gundam warrior and obtain 2 powerful ninjutsu that belong to you. The others are not very useful. Speaking of this, Chenshin was also quite helpless. No matter how Sasuke develops, he will definitely be a Gundam warrior after opening the Manjaki Sharingan. Even if he develops well in other aspects, he can't match the advantages of Susanoo. It is worth mentioning that the Sharingan picked up by Chen Tian seems to be a little special. It evolves automatically little by little every day, and now it has opened the Manjaki. So Chen Tian is particularly familiar with this, so he gave Sasuke such advice. Hearing what Chen Tian said, Sasuke nodded thoughtfully, thinking about the development direction that Chen Tian said. After seeing the 2 little guys finish their contemplation, Chen Tian said, no matter what you choose, since you are here today, I can't let you run in vain. I will teach you a ninjutsu each. While speaking, Chen Tian thought carefully. All his ninjutsu are instant, and he has not made hand seals for a long time, and he almost forgot it. After a while, he said, let's start with Naruto. I will teach you an A-level ninjutsu Great Fire Extinguishing. He demonstrated it to Naruto several times and explained the key points of it bit by bit. Naruto did not waste Minato's talent. After only 4 or 5 times of teaching, he stumbled and fumbled on his own. After doing all this, looking at Sasuke's pitiful expression, he pulled him to the other side. I will also teach you an A-level ninjutsu, Chidori. This was developed by your teacher Kakashi, and it can be upgraded to an S-level ninjutsu, Reikari. For a moment, Chidori continued to sound in the jungle, and thunder in Chenshin's right hand kept running wildly. Sasuke didn't care much when he knew about the ninjutsu developed by Kakashi, but when he saw the power of this ninjutsu, his eyes lit up immediately, as if it was destined. After seeing this ninjutsu, Sasuke felt that he couldn't take his eyes off it. Seeing Sasuke so interested, Chenshin smiled and began to teach. After finishing all that he should do, Chenshin lay on the grass alone in the sun, bored and watching the 2 people make progress little by little. At noon, Xiao Linglang came over with 3 lunches. Have you eaten? Looking at the exquisite food in his hand, Chenshin still felt amazed, even after eating it for so many days. Linglang shook her head, mine is still at home. I'll clean up after you finish eating, and then go eat. Looking at Linglang's cute appearance, Chenshin touched her head and said, let's eat together. After that, he took half of the rice in his hand and gave it to little Linglang. Then he shouted to Naruto and Sasuke, you 2 take a break first and continue practicing after dinner. This practice lasted for a whole day. After it got dark in the afternoon, the 2 went home. After returning home, he couldn't wait to tell his parents what Chenshin said intact and discussed it with them. After Minato returned home, he listened to Naruto's story and looked at Kushina in deep thought. There was nothing wrong with what Chenshin said. Chenshin used the same routine when he was a child, but he didn't use it after he became stronger. They had all seen Chenshin's turret-style battles with their own eyes. The ninjutsu came one after another, making it completely impossible for people to resist. After thinking it through, the 2 no longer hesitated and nodded in agreement. If you don't take advantage of such a good innate advantage, you are really a fool. The same situation happened at Sasuke's home, especially Fugaku, who supported Chenshin's point of view 100%. He opened the Manjaki and knew the advantages of the Manjaki Sharingan. Before opening the Manjaki, he was a ninjutsu ninja. Although he was powerful, he could not crush others. But according to Chenshin's idea, Sasuke was undoubtedly very strong in both the early and late stages. With the affirmation of their family, the two little guys continued to practice hand seals happily. Early the next morning, the two little guys rushed to Chenshin, told Chenshin the good news, and then began to practice according to Chenshin's arrangement. This training took 3 days. After the two had initially mastered their respective ninjutsu, they were taken by Kakashi to do the task. This time the task was to clear out the rebel ninja. A Chunin rebelled against the village and established a mountain stronghold. Perhaps because the development of Konoha gave him inspiration, this guy actually taught the bandits in the mountain stronghold to practice, which made the mountain stronghold have more than a dozen genin. This time, he was hired by a robbed merchant. Kakashi led the three little ones to kill the rebel ninja on the spot. After a day of traveling, Kakashi brought the three little ones to the outside of the mountain village. You have all accepted Zaoshin's teachings. This time I will teach you. Let me see your progress. No problem, leave it to us. X2 Naruto and Sasuke stood with their chests in a row, their tone full of confidence. Only Sakura looked at the three people blankly, with fear in her eyes. They all knew the mission target, that is a Chunin and a dozen genin. Relying on the three of them who just graduated, isn't this going to die? But before she could refuse, Naruto and Sasuke agreed and blocked her words. After seeing Kakashi disappear, Naruto and Sasuke looked at each other, nodded to each other and said, "Sakura, you just wait here, we will solve it soon." As soon as the voice fell, the two rushed out without hesitation and quickly entered the mountain village. Enemy attack. Come on, come quickly, someone is attacking. Kill them, they are just two little ghosts. In just 1 minute, a large group of people gathered around Naruto and Sasuke, including the rebel ninja. The two looked at each other. Sasuke opened his Sharingan and rushed towards the Chunin, while Naruto formed a seal on the spot. With the insight of the Sharingan, Sasuke dodged all attacks and soon came in front of the rebel ninja. Chapter 98 Gold Medal Lecturer. Arriving in front of the rebel ninja, Sasuke's speed increased suddenly, avoiding the opponent's great fireball technique. His right hand flashed with lightning, and a sound like a chirping bird suddenly sounded. Chidori. Swish. Sasuke passed through the rebel ninja's body and stopped behind him. As Sasuke's mouth curled up, the rebel ninja opened her mouth and fell down in disbelief. There was a fist-sized hole in her chest. Sasuke was taking action, and Naruto was not polite either. When Sasuke rushed out, Naruto had already completed the seal, and the great fire extinguishing came out mercilessly. The dozen or so genin surrounding him had no time to dodge, and could only take this ninjutsu. 8 of them died on the spot, and the rest barely escaped. But before they could breathe a sigh of relief, Naruto completed the seal in his hand again, and another great fire extinguishing fell. Around Naruto's body, endless flames burned fiercely, and these ninjas struggled frantically in it, but in just a few seconds, they turned burnt yellow and lost their lives. Sakura, who was at the foot of the mountain, saw with her own eyes how Naruto and Sasuke solved the battle so easily, with their mouths so big that they could swallow an egg. This was a Chunin and a dozen rebel ninjas. How could Naruto and Sasuke solve the battle so easily? How long did this battle take? From the time the two of them went up the mountain to now, was it 10 seconds or 20 seconds? Anyway, it definitely did not exceed 30 seconds. Are these rebel ninjas weak? Sakura was sure that they were not, but that Naruto and Sasuke were too powerful. Sasuke and Naruto in the mountain village looked at each other, knocked out all the remaining ordinary people, and swaggered down the mountain. At this moment, Kakashi suddenly appeared beside Sakura, looked at the two of them and sighed. It's true that Zaoshin is so good. Every time he gives guidance, he can be so just right. Teacher Kakashi, is Lord Chenshin really so powerful that he can make Sasuke and Naruto so powerful in just 3 days? Sakura's tone was full of disbelief and contradiction, because she took the initiative to give up the opportunity to be taught by Chenshin. Kakashi nodded and said, yes, Zaoshin's teaching ability is so strong that even I have been taught by Zaoshin. As he spoke, Kakashi remembered what the 8-year-old child said to him on the ship when he returned from the snow country. Touching the white fang broken blade behind him, Kakashi was glad that he listened to the child, otherwise he would not have the strength he has now. After hearing what Kakashi said, Sakura's eyes suddenly dimmed for a moment and returned to normal in less than 2 seconds. She didn't take it to heart at all. Kakashi naturally saw all of Sakura's reactions, frowned secretly, and said because she was a member of his team, Sakura, when the gap in strength between team members is too large, they will gradually drift apart and become strangers from then on. He secretly hoped that Sakura would listen and work hard to become stronger, but Sakura was indifferent. Kakashi suddenly felt bored and was too lazy to say anything more. Anyway, he was just a team member, not a disciple, so he couldn't do anything if he didn't do well. Teacher Kakashi, we completed the mission. At this moment, Naruto and Sasuke ran over happily, with smiles on their faces. This actual combat told them that they had used 3 days to improve their strength by more than double. If it was before Chenshin's teaching, the two of them would definitely not be the opponents of these people. But now, it's too easy. Okay. After completing the mission, several people quickly returned to Konoha, and the news of Naruto and Sasuke spread immediately. In the Hyuga family, Hyuga Hayashi looked at Hinata, who was practicing hard, frowned and thought about whether to send Hinata to Chenshin. But how to send it is also a problem. You have to be willing to send it, but the other person has to be willing to accept it. Although he and Chenshin have had intersections, their relationship is not that good. I got it. With a row of slaps, Hayashi thought of the time when Chenshin stood up for the Hyuga clan and took them to attack the Cloud Shadow level. Chenshin has done a great favor to the Hyuga clan. Letting Hinata help Chenshin with housework is the best way to repay Chenshin. Hinata, who was practicing, felt that she had seen the most terrifying scene in her life. Her strict father actually laughed like a fool. In addition to the Hyuga family, many other families also had such scenes. But they were not as lucky as Hyuga Hayashi. They had no relationship with Chenshin at all, and they did not dare to rashly become his apprentice. In the end, they had no choice but to give up this tempting idea. However, there was an exception. That was the little Shianshin with a bull head. This little guy's family was the largest ninja tool store in Konoha, and he had a lot of money, but unfortunately he could not find a way to get in touch with Chenshin. But on the second day, Might Guy suddenly stood up and said that he could let Chenshin help Shianshin. He knew his own affairs. His way of practice was only suitable for Zaioli. Niji could barely teach him, but he could do nothing about Shianshin. With the previous experience of Naruto and Sasuke, it was obviously the most appropriate to let Shianshin accept Chenshin's teachings. Besides, with his relationship with Chenshin, it would be easy for him to send someone there. The next morning, Hyuga Hayashi asked about Kurenoi from Hinata's team. Kurenoi readily agreed and promised that she would often visit Chenshin. Hayashi knew that Kurenoi's intention was not to go to Chenshin, but he was tactful and didn't say it. When he was about to take Hinata to Chenshin, his younger brother Hisashi came to him and hoped that Niji could go too. Hayashi thought for a moment and agreed without hesitation. The three of them went to find Might Guy. After finding Guy, they were shocked to find that Guy was actually going to send Shianshin to Chenshin. After a few people discussed it, they decided to send Hinata, Niji and Shianshin there. When there was a mission, they would go to perform the mission. If there was no mission, they would practice with Chenshin. Chenshin, who was teaching Naruto and Sasuke, didn't know about this. Soon, Xiaolinglan ran back to tell him that someone was looking for him. Xiaolinglan had not been here for long, and he didn't know any of these people, and he couldn't tell who they were. Chenshin was a little surprised when he came back. What was this group of people doing with 3 children? Hayashi and Hayashi wanted to be polite, but Kei pushed Shianshin in front of Chenshin, gave a thumbs up and said, Xiaoshin, this child is a member of my team, but she doesn't fit with my way, so I'll leave it to you to train. Looking at the shining big front teeth, Kei is not embarrassed at all. Chenshin slapped his forehead speechlessly. I said I don't teach, but you let me teach. He didn't know what happened. These people rushed to send their outstanding children here. Naruto and Sasuke didn't tell him about the previous things. Chenshin felt confused and didn't know what was going on. How did he seem to be a gold medal lecturer? Hayashi saw this and hurriedly brought out the reasons he had thought of long ago and also pushed Hinata and Niji over. Looking at the carefree Cheyenne, the shy and blushing Hinata, and the optimistic Niji who had not experienced the tragedy, Chen nodded and agreed. Not to mention the relationship with Kei, it was the talent of these three children. Chen felt that he should teach them, so that they would not go astray. Of course, there was absolutely no reason for the shameless Hayashi. The excuse he made had no effect on Chen at all, absolutely not. After thanking him profusely, Hayashi and his Ashi left, leaving only Kei. Not long after, Yuhi Kurenoi arranged the remaining 2 people in her team, and came to Chen in the name of seeing Hinata. Chapter 99, The Reappearance of the Death Cult. Time flies, and a month has passed in the blink of an eye. During this month, Chen helped the 5 little guys embark on the path that suits them best. Hinata and Niji are gifted, but to Chen, they are just that, nothing special. What really surprised Chen was the little girl Cheyenne, who could make storage scrolls by herself, and had a strong spatial talent. Although the little girl's talent was not enough for her to learn the Flying Thunder God technique, Chen's original portable space fully met the requirements. Cheyenne did not have any high-level ninjutsu or physical skills, but she had an extraordinary talent for manipulating ninja tools. After spending some effort, Chen helped Cheyenne build a space of more than 300 cubic meters, so that she could store more ninja tools. With this alone, as long as the little girl practices well, even ordinary shadow level players may not be her opponents in the future. On this day, Konoha held a joint Chunin exam, and invited the other 5 major ninja villages to participate. After so many times of running in the Ninja Way conference, the 5 major ninja villages unanimously agreed to invite this time. The 5 little guys were also summoned back by Kakashi and others, and they were doing a lot of D-level tasks. If they want to participate in the Chunin exam, they must complete a certain number of tasks. Those that they did not do before can only be made up now. In addition, these villages also came to discuss the matter of the tailed beasts. They have not found them for more than 10 years. If it were not for the dominance of Konoha, they would not dare to act rashly, and would have become one with each other long ago. But no one knows how long this situation can last, so they hope that Konoha can help. After the 5 little guys left, Chen was also called over by Minato. Ocean, the Enbu found the trace of the leader of the death god cult. Where is Gai? Chen remembered the person who almost killed him at the beginning very clearly, and he didn't forget a single detail. Minato shook his head and said, "It's not clear for the time being. The Enbu only found their followers in the land of the sun, and didn't see the person you said." After a pause, Minato said, "As far as I know, the name Gai is fake, and even the face is fake." Minato's expression was also a little serious. As long as the sacrifices of these people who worship the evil gods are enough, their strength will change day by day. Now more than 10 years have passed, and no one knows how powerful that person can be. Chenchan's face was not good, and he asked, "Where is the Kingdom of the Sun? Why have I never heard of it?" The Kingdom of the Sun is a very small country, with a total population of only 20,000 to 30,000 people. It is located on a small island in the sea in the Far East. Minato, who has been the Hokage for so many years, knows all these things well, and continued, "This small island is a little far from the shore, and it takes 2 days to take a boat, so few people know about it. Give me a map, and I will go, and completely get rid of him, so as to eliminate future troubles and avenge the past." Chenchan's eyes flashed with murderous intent, and there was also a fearful look. The god of death is difficult to deal with, but it is not impossible to deal with it. But the leader is not an ordinary person. When he was not very strong, he dared to come to Konoha to deceive ninjas, and wanted to use ninjas as sacrifices. How powerful can he be in all these years? Chen has no idea. The only thing to be thankful for is that there are no ninjas in the Kingdom of the Sun, and that person cannot sacrifice ninjas. After pondering for a while, Minato said, "You can go, but you must bring a few people with you to prevent any accidents." Okay. He wanted to refuse, but when he remembered that he would have died a long time ago without Gai and Kurenoi, he agreed. The Chunin exam is approaching, and other villages will come. In order to prevent any accidents, the 3 ninjas and the chief of the Fugaku clan will stay in Konoha. Let Kakashi, my guy, and Kurenoi go with me. Chen said this after careful consideration. Kakashi and Might Guy are both cage level, and their combat power is not weaker than anyone else. They can help. With the help of Chenshin, Kurenai also has the strength of an elite Jonin. In addition, she has experienced facing the Shinigami cult once, so she will surely be able to play a lot of roles. After pondering for a while, he nodded and agreed. Okay, but if the three of them leave, it will be difficult for Naruto and the others to participate in the Chunin exam. However, when he saw Chenshin in front of him, and thought that this person was a 10,000-year-old genin, Minato made a decision instantly. Kakashi and the other three will go with you, and their teams will go with you. It's time for Naruto to experience something. Since the Chunin, Konoha can hold 3 or 4 events a year, and you can participate at any time. But this kind of experience is hard to come by, and there are 2 cage level Kakashi, and Might Guy, and the unfathomable guardian of Chenshin. If accidents can still happen, there is no safe place. This is not good. Nothing bad. It's settled. I'll notify them today, and you can set off tomorrow morning. Minato interrupted Chenshin before he refused. Thinking of bringing 9 burdens with him, Chenshin wanted to cry, but had no tears, but he could only grit his teeth and bear it. The next morning, before Chenshin got up, a group of people came to the door. Kakashi, Might Guy and Juhi Kurenai all came with their teams. Chenshin sent Zio Linglang to Kushina last night. Although Zio Linglang also started training, her strength was too weak to go with her. Therefore, there was no one guarding the gate today, so Kakashi and Might Guy just rushed in carelessly. Zio-shan, get up quickly, we have to go on a mission. Why do you have to go so early? After complaining, Chenshin still got up and said, wait, I'll be out soon. While washing up, Chenshin complained in his heart that K's voice was more useful than an alarm clock. Let's go. After saying hello to the little guys, and rolling his eyes at K, everyone set off. Among the 9 little guys, 5 were training with him, and one of them, Sakura, had seen him and knew him, so she didn't feel strange. On the contrary, Kiba Inuzuka, Aburishino and Zyoli looked at him curiously, listening to the friends around them telling them about Chenshin's great achievements. After leaving Konoha, everyone's speed suddenly increased a lot, and they went all the way east. Chenshin's personal space was filled with a lot of hot food, and everyone experienced the best way to travel in history. In this way, it took them 2 full days to reach the coastal area. Looking at the endless blue sea in front of them, except for the kids in Team 7, everyone else was frowning. This sea is so big, how can we get across? The small boats around here can't do it at all. Kakashi and the others heard the little guys howling, smiled at each other, and then winked at Chen Tian. Would release, the art of luxury cruise ship. The sturdy trees under Chen Tian's feet grew one after another, and a ship more than 20 meters long and more than 10 meters wide slowly formed. After the ship appeared, the trees pushed the ship into the sea, and then shrank back again, as if it had never appeared. Okay, let's all get on board. With a chuckle, Kakashi and the others all boarded the ship. Only a few little guys were left standing there in amazement, and even rubbed their eyes in disbelief, thinking that they were seeing things. Isn't would release the most powerful bloodline limit? Hasn't it appeared since the death of the first Hokage? Why is it here? And as far as they know, Chen Tian is not a member of the Senju clan. Why does he know the would release bloodline limit? Unfortunately, no one gave them any answer, and they could only follow him up in confusion. Chapter 100 Gathering Intelligence. After drifting on the sea for 2 days, Chenshin and others finally arrived at the island of the Sun Country. After finding a deserted place, Chenshin drove the boat over. Hurry up and throw K overboard, otherwise he might die on the boat. Chenshin was a little amused. The fearless K became weak in the legs after getting on the boat, vomiting all over the place, and now he could only crawl on the deck, unable to even stand up. Not only Chenshin, but others were also shocked to see this situation, and they couldn't believe that this was the proud blue beast of Konoha. After resting for a while, they were ready to start the action when everyone recovered. Kakashi, Minato should have told you the specific situation. That person is not easy to deal with, and the threat of the god of death is great. Come up with an action plan. Chenshin threw the matter to Kakashi without any scruples, because Kakashi's brain is really useful. If he didn't have such a useful brain, he wouldn't have been known as the 50-50 match between Hatake and Kakashi, although these didn't happen in this life. Kakashi rolled his eyes at Chenshin, lowered his head and thought, then raised his head and said, our intelligence is from more than 10 years ago, and no one knows the current situation. Moreover, with so many of us, we are too conspicuous, and will be easily discovered, especially with these little guys following us. Kakashi said it directly without giving the little guys any face. Although Naruto, Sasuke and others were very unconvinced, they could only roll their eyes and puff their faces when they saw the stern expression of their teacher. After glaring at them unhappily, Kakashi continued, the top priority now is to obtain enough intelligence, and the expression cannot be discovered by the other party. So we need to let these little guys hide, and a few of us will go to investigate. When saying this, Kakashi glanced at Kei furtively, and Chenshin and Hong immediately understood what he meant. Kei, the green-skinned watermelon head, was too conspicuous. If he went out to inquire about the information, he would be exposed in a minute, so it was most appropriate to let him stay and watch Naruto and others. Giving Kakashi a knowing look, Chenshin pretended to say, if we all leave, the little guys will be in danger. We must stay and watch them. Who do you think is the most suitable? Han continued very naturally, my strength is not as good as yours, so it is not safe for me to watch them. Kakashi's detection method is the strongest, so I must go out. I can only choose one between you and Kei. After saying that, Hong showed a playful smile at the corner of her mouth and looked at Chenshin with interest. This made Chenshin's mouth twitch. Why didn't this woman act according to the script? Didn't you trick me with this move? Do you want me to stay and take care of the naughty kids? Chenshin is the only one among us who can fly. If we encounter a more dangerous place, he will be needed, so let Kei stay. Fortunately, Kakashi pulled Chenshin's hand in time and found a barely acceptable excuse. Kei looked at the three people in front of him, talking to each other, and just left him alone. He opened his mouth, but found that he had nothing to say. After the decision was made, all the resistance forces were suppressed, including Naruto, Sasuke and Inazukikaba. They found a cliff near the sea, and Chenshin built a house in the middle of the cliff with wood release, and let everyone led by Kei stay in. After arranging these people, Chenshin and Kakashi Yuhikyun changed into civilian clothes and walked out. After a while, the three of them came to a small town. But the situation here was still beyond their expectations. The people here were not even dressed as the civilian clothes they were wearing. Almost everyone was dressed as a beggar, which made the three of them stand out from the crowd. Let's go, we are rich now. Let's go to a pub to have fun. Chenshin shook his head indifferently. Anyway, there are landlords and rich people here, so it doesn't matter. The only bad thing is that Yuhikyun is too beautiful, and the rate of turning back is almost 100%. After a while, the three of them walked into a sake pub, ordered a few bottles of wine casually, and sat down to listen. Alas, tomorrow is the Death God Festival. I don't know how many people will die this time. The Death God cult deserves to die. Shut up, don't you want to live? How dare you say such things? At a table not far from Chen Tian and the others, two ragged men were talking in a low voice. Although they were dressed in shabby clothes, they looked outstanding and righteous. Chen Tian and the other two looked at each other and did not act rashly, but listened quietly. Alas. Actually, you are right. The Death God Festival is held once a month, and each town must send 2 people. There are only 8 towns in the Sun Country, and 16 people will die in a month. These people have almost half the population. His companion nodded in agreement. That's right. It's still better for us in the far country. We have enough food and warm clothes every day, but it's a pity that we can't go back. At this point, the two of them drank dejectedly and lost the idea of continuing the conversation. However, this made Chen Tian know a lot of information. First of all, there are only 8 towns in the Sun Country, which is pitifully small. Secondly, almost all the people here believe in the Death God cult. Every month, each town will send 2 people to pay tribute. In a year, there are 24 people, and in 10 years, there are 240 people, which leads to a decreasing population. Looking at the situation, these people still do not repent, and have already believed in the Death God cult. Chen Tian glanced at Kakashi and Yuhikyun, and seeing that they agreed and looked thoughtful, he made a gesture of cutting necks. Kakashi and Kyunoi nodded in understanding, and the 3 of them sat here and began to eat and drink, waiting for the 2 to leave. After sitting for half an hour, the two men left the tavern drunkenly. Chen Tian threw some money and chased after them with Kakashi and Kunoha. It was not until the two men walked into an uninhabited area that Chen Tian and the other two showed up and blocked their way. Two of you. Next we ask you, if you don't listen. Although he didn't finish his words, the knife in Chen Tian's hand was reflecting light, and everyone knew what he meant. Looking at this cold and shining knife, the drunkenness of the two men disappeared instantly, and they were more sober than ever before. He nodded hurriedly, not daring to make a sound, fearing that Chen Tian would attack him if he got upset. Seeing the two men behaved well, Chen Tian asked, "Which country are you two from, and why are you in the Sun Country?" "The Fire Country. We are fishermen from the Fire Country, and we were captured and brought here." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.